tried to make it on my own. When I was a young man, I had the answers to life's game. When I was a young man, I bore the consequences and the shame. I got a little older, I took a good look at myself. I got a little older,
In 1957, a man had a dream. The day ground was broke to build a speedway which the likes of the world have never seen. In 1959, with the help of many people, including Joseph Sachs Lloyd, that dream became reality when the first practice run on the new track began on February 6, 1959. Shortly thereafter, the first ever Daytona 500 was ran. Lee Petty beat John Beauchamp in a photo finish that took 3 days to figure out who won, with the first ever photo finish at the end, with the finish of the race 3 cars wide. Since then, every February, the place now known as the World Center of Racing, man and machine come together from miles around to take on the 31-degree high banks of the monster track. Names like Earnhardt, Gordon, Johnson, and even Irvin have tamed this place, and this February is no exception. Technology has allowed speed at this large and fast speedway to top over 200 miles per hour. It has also kept drivers safe from many dangers, including the big one that usually happens at least once every time they meet. Today, technology has brought it further than ever before. In sim racing, iRacing has done a fantastic job in recreating what has been thought of as one of the best top-of-the-line sims available out there. It takes talent, it takes patience, it takes a will to put it out front. From the draft to tire wear to white-knuckle racing, they have done a fantastic job. Today, we ask you to join us for one of the most exciting races ever ran in the racing world, coming to you live from Daytona International Speedway, the Thunder Road Racing League Bucky Burt Challenge Series for a handful of hours, 500 miles of bumper-to-bumper racing at 200-plus miles per hour. So grab a cold one, maybe save a few for the game, put it up on the big screen, and cheer for your favorite driver. Live here on MaxSpeedTV.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at, and welcome to MaxSpeedTV. Today we present the auto detailing Daytona 500. That's right, folks, we're going to run an entire 500-mile race here on iRacing. And with me up in the booth is Lucas Cram. Welcome, Lucas.
Thank you for having me on.
And of course, on our keyboards, as usual, we have our Michael D'Amico, who will press all the buttons for us tonight. So, normally, at least that I've seen, that the iRaces don't generally run an entire 500-mile race. What are you expecting today?
I think when the Gen 6 Cup cars, you're going to see some single-file racing, especially towards the start of the race. These guys do have one fast pair to help them if they do get involved in a crash, but obviously you don't want to wreck out on lap 5 or lap 10 and then miss out on the final 190 miles of the race. I think you're going to see a lot of single-file racing and not only much aggression to start the race off, but obviously when you get into the closing 50 laps or so, I think we're going to expect to see the caution flag fly and we're going to see some big crashes and whatnot. But it's obviously a long race. Take care of your stuff and make sure you don't get off pace.
All right, and qualifying is underway. There is a 10-minute session, 2 laps to complete it. But before we get too much into qualifying, I believe we have an announcement from one of the drivers, Judd Danielson. We'll bring him up here in the booth right now. Stand by. Judd Danielson, this is Keith and Lucas up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do, Lucas. How you doing, buddy?
Doing excellent. This is Keith, by the way. First things first, I hear you got some things you want to talk about.
Yeah, so Bruzy Simware is a company that I hooked up with this year out of the UK. They do simware for shoes, hats, gloves, T-shirts, things like that. There used to be, and they still are actually in the karting industry, but they put together a pretty nice set of shoes that are made specifically for the sim racers. The soles are a lot thinner. The boots actually mold to your feet, so they'll only fit you. You can check them out at bruzy.co.uk and get some information over at the website. Get yourself on that mailing list. We're always putting out information for free giveaways and discounts on the wares that we have.
Yeah,
there's a link too. Yep.
Yeah, link at the bottom. Yep, there it is. Link at the bottom of our broadcast. That'll bring you right to them. If anybody really thinks that people don't take sim racing seriously, they're wrong.
Yeah, the great thing about it is you get an opportunity to customize these boots. You can have your team name on them, put your name, your car number, the flag for the country that you're in. They can do just about anything. They're totally embroidered. They're custom made just for you. The opportunity is there. I'd like to see guys take advantage of it. It's a fairly new company, but Ben's been doing a lot of great work. I'm just trying to get the word out there for him, and I'd really like to thank him for all the opportunity that I've had. I've been racing my Xfinity car with him and my truck, so trying to get the word over here in the U.S. Guys, I think you'd really enjoy the boots. They're really nice quality. They're not cheap, so something you'd pay $120 to $300 for is less than $100 to your door. It's not a bad deal.
No, not at all. That sounds like a great deal. I might have to go check them out myself.
Yeah, I'd like to really give a shout out to Rip Eagle Racing. Obviously, you can find them on Facebook. Savage Motorsports, great group of guys. Loose Lug Nuts Racing League, can't speak enough for them. John Hedrick at Over the Top Paints and Designs done a lot of the paint work for us. Robert, thank you so much from Top Shelf Auto Detailing, and Bucky. Man, this is going to be a good one. Hang in there, guys.
You got it. So what are you looking forward to most about today's race before we let you go?
Survival. It's survival. I haven't raced with a bunch of these guys in a while, so it's really nice to see the names out there. Should have some fun. Just looking forward to surviving this thing. I want to be up front as much as I can, but it's going to be a situation where what's going on around you, do the guys give or take? It's a long race. We know how this thing goes, so look forward to it.
All right, man. Well, good luck in today's race, and we'll see you after.
Sounds good. Thanks, Keith.
All right, that was Judd Danielson giving us a little bit of heads up there about the sim racing wear that's out there now. And like I was saying, I honestly think that sim racing is becoming to the point where people are trying to do this for a living.
Absolutely, there's a lot of esports you can join. Peak Entry Series and even some leagues that give great payouts up to close to the value of Peak. So. It's obviously a hobby for most, and some guys do take it very seriously, and that's not a bad thing either. You definitely can make a profit off of it for sure.
All right, so qualifying is underway right now, and so far at the top of the board we have Jonathan Wall with a 47.643. 15 guys have taken times, and it looks like we have a pretty full field out there today. I'm seeing 40 cars out there today.
There's a couple of guys not in the session, so I think they're taking up spots. Looks like actually there's not one guy, so...
Oh, yeah, I see that. You're right.
I think it was about, two spots probably left if anybody joins last second here, but...
All right, we are a few minutes into qualifying. So far, 15 drivers have taken times. Daytona is one of those tracks where qualifying is important, but if you don't do a fantastic job in qualifying, you're still in pretty good shape considering how long this race is going to be today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You heard Judd say, try to survive. We're going to see some crashes or cautions towards the start of the race, even though, I do think the aggression is not going to be picked up until towards the end of the race, but, you still have just a single mistake out of somebody or something like that, or getting up pit road, if we do have green pit stops here today, that's always really tough at Talladega and Daytona, so you might see a crash result from that just by accident. So, qualifying isn't a huge deal. A lot of guys actually have the strategy to try to stay in the back and avoid all the crashes and then get up and race for it at the end. So, qualifying, like you mentioned, not a huge deal at all. I would argue probably the Gen 6 is probably a really hard package to pass in here at Daytona. So if you do want to be in the front all race long, definitely need to qualify towards the front because it's going to be hard to get up there compared to if you're in the truck or Xfinity car. But it's not necessarily item for you guys.
Yeah, and of course, then we always have to bring up the elephant in the room. That would be the big one. Is it something that these guys got to worry about, or what?
Oh, absolutely. You're out there in the car and everybody's running 2-3 wide and closely tight time together, and it's really easy to just bumper hook somebody. And what I mean by that term is you get on somebody's corner panel, or you're trying to bump draft them on the bumper, and you just accidentally clip them in the wrong direction, and it sends them sideways, and they lose control, and the whole field's taken out in a few seconds. So it's sometimes inevitable, pretty much, I guess you could say. We go to a plate track, especially a long race like that, so you're going to have a big wreck. Question is, will we see multiple of them with how big a field we have and the fact these guys have one fast car?
Alright, yeah, so obviously the name of the game is for this first part of the race is just settle in and turn in your laps and save all the real fun stuff until the end.
So some guys are trying to turn some last-second qualifying times in here.
Yeah, I see I'm looking at myself is Brandon Thornhill now in the 68 car. He's taking his laps. So far, 24 cars have taken a time. I'm fairly certain some of these guys are going to take the start in the back stance and just watch everything unfold in front of them.
Looks like we have a tie for 5th place at qualifying. Both James O'Brown and David Keynes at the time of 47.690. So this goes to show how little minute differences determine where you're starting this race.
Yeah, and the first and second place are only separated by basically 3 100ths, and that is a very tight tolerance. All right, looks like we're just about ready here to wrap up qualifying. We're almost done, and when we do, we'll get the grid going and go 500 miles of racing at Daytona.
The final 5 seconds here, and hopefully it's going to be wrapped up, and then we're going to go through the starting grid here.
All right, looks like that does wrap it up for qualifying. And congratulations to Jonathan Wall for taking the pole for today's race. All right, looks like we got the grid here. We'll go through the starting order right now. Starting on your pole with a time of 47.643 is Jonathan Wall. Starting next to him on the outside, Mitchell Reeves with a time of 47.673, very close. Starting third, Jeffrey Merck. Starting fourth, Garrett Potts. Fifth is James Brown. Sixth is David Keynes. Seventh is Andrew Cardinal, the fourth. Eighth, Ray Richer. Ninth, Brandon Murray. And rounding out your top 10 is Jeffrey Meyer. Lucas.
So number 2 tonight is Judge Nelson, 24 machine, rolls off in 12th place. That's Corey Blevins. Dustin Covington will roll off in 13th, Les Levy in 14th, and then Brian Bizzle in the 60 machine, he's going to roll off in 15th. Brent McCoy starts off in 16th, Ronald Queen in 17th on his outsides, Brandon Thornhill in the 68 entry, Gabriel Wood runs off and roll off 19th, and David B. Johnson starts off in 20th.
All right, then we have Gene Rogers in 21st, Joe Owen in 22nd, Sean Rhodes in 23rd, Corey Stansel in 24th, Travis Lonis in 25th, 26th is Austin Lonis. I wonder if there's any relation there. And the last person to take a time for today is 27th, and that is Cody Tabor. Gary Whitman, 28th. Kevin Fetty, 29th. Josh Steeler, 30th. Mike Donahue, 31st. Chris Scales, 32nd. Jason Hughes, 33rd. 34th is Bobby Jonas. 35th, Robert McFarland. 36th, Brian Tribble. 37th, Glenn Fetty. Bucky Burt in 38th. Ron Shute in 39th. And rounding out the entire field, although I'm not sure he's actually going to start the race or not, is the 94 machine of Tony Rochette.
Yeah, it's still not in the session, so.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to have 39 cars start the race as they roll out on the track, take their one lap, and then we're off to green flag racing. And I'd just like to shout out to everybody who's in chat today. Thank you all for joining us. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to MaxSpeedTV so you don't miss all the racing action. We do broadcast, I should say, pretty much every day of the week. I'm hoping for a good, clean race, a lot of side-by-side action. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Wall, the 42 machine on your pole. I'm almost as nervous as they are watching this thing. 42.
So, off turn number 4 here, under pace car speed. Down from Moment Reed with the field to the green flag to kick off the Daytona 500 here, presented by Top Shelf Auto. Pace car makes its way down onto pit road. And Jonathan Wall going to look at the green flag here. It's waving and run away here from Daytona.
All right, the action has begun as everybody seems pretty content to stay where they're at as Jonathan Wall does get out in front and takes him into turn number 1.
Reed's going to lose drafted help from behind, so he's going to lose a couple spots here and fall back. And already you've seen a single file train on the inside there where you kind of play nice and easy. You see Andrew Cardinale that would step in the line and try to gain some spots, but nothing too crazy yet. Still just double file towards the front of the pack here, as it looks like, and that's not exactly the place to be right now.
Yeah, you know, in the last couple of Daytona races I've seen, the outside line has a real hard time getting going unless they have a lot of help and they all stay together. As we get ready to complete our first lap, it is Jonathan Wall who will lead us to the start-finish line and to complete lap 1. With Jeffrey Merck right behind him, James Brown in 3rd, Andrew Cardinale in 4th, and in 5th place is Brandon Murray in the 13 car.
Top 3 currently a single file, looks like actually making the top 4 here if that 13 can get clear of Andrew Cardinale for that 4th position, but everybody kind of back of this tag a little bit separate. A couple guys decided to take that strategy to drop to the back and just avoid the carnage that might take place here and play it safe until we get to the end of the race here. And Rich Reeves, along with the 40 machine up there, Garrett Potts trying to push Andrew Cardinale to the front here, and looks like 13 kind of tracked a little bit, being able to keep it off each other. And you see Andrew Cardinale kind of down next to these guys and not anywhere near pinching them as you would be if it was about 10 laps to go right now. You obviously get that side draft. It's really key for trying to make passes here, Daytona on the outside, but this earlier in the race, you don't have a chance of making contact and causing a wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and for me as a professional back marker, you always, as a racer, you want to be up front as quickly as you can, but you also have to understand that there is a 200-lap race in front of you. And, you know, that old cliche that to finish first, you first have to finish, that really applies here.
And it's not hard to go to the back. It's not like, you don't want to go so far back that you lose the draft. If it goes green a long way, you're going to go laps down. But you can kind of just, sit behind. If you have teammates or friends in this session, you can kind of draft with them if they want to take the same strategy as you. And if not, you kind of just ride behind the pack and leave a bit of a gap and not big enough for you to lose the draft. And it can work quite well. You can always switch your strategy mid-race. And, hey, I want to go to the front right now. I feel like it's going to be green a long way. And you can work your way up to the field as you see the 6 machine make a move for the race lead.
Yeah, yep, it looks like we have the Jeffrey Merck there trying to make the outside line work, and they're doing a pretty good job. Although you have to be a little careful when you get really close in the draft like that because you can overheat these Gen 6 cars.
Yeah, that's an issue. If you get behind somebody for too long, the engine overheats, and these guys do have gauges, so it flashes caution.
And we got a caution out. I am not sure for who. It's like perhaps the 28 car.
If I can look at the MaxSpeedTV replay. Quick figure out what the cause of that caution was.
Well, I see that the 4 car of Barbie Jonas is really, really damaged, so he was involved in something.
It looks like he had some connection issue and just wasn't pure on the track, but caution coming out for him. Not quite sure what exactly happened to Bobby Jonas there. But as you can see, the result of what's happened to his car here.
Right, his caution came out on lap 4.
The 58. Good.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like anybody's going to come down pit road unless they had some damage. It looks like we do have a few takers coming down pit road, get them fresh tires, fill up that gas tank.
Looks like the 58 machine does have some front-end damage in that crash as well, Jason Hughes.
And they do have one fast repair that they are able to utilize for today's race. However, you really don't want to use it this early.
Oh, absolutely not. You know, if you have that fast repair left and you're about 50 laps to go and you still have that, but a lot of guys don't having that, it's absolutely a huge advantage. You can be a little bit more aggressive, make some moves you probably wouldn't make if you didn't have that, but now that some of these guys at the 4 and the 58 are going to have to use that, it's definitely going to put them behind the rest of the field, and they're probably going to play it super safe from here on out until we get to about 10 laps to go, I would say.
Yeah, that fast repair is kind of your ace in the hole if you ever need it toward the end of the race. So it looks like we have the 22 car now is in the lead with Andrew Cardinale and then James Brown in second, Mitchell Reeves third, Brandon Murray fourth, and Garrett Potts running at your top 5 as they make their pace laps. And again, I would like to give a shout out to Abruzzi Racewear. Looks like there's some prizes are given out today. So the race winner is going to receive a $40 discount voucher for a pair of Racewear boots. They also receive a free pair of racing gloves, so something to race for. Second place is going to get a $20 voucher for Racewear boots. Third place gets a $10 voucher for the Racewear boots, and the pole sitter also receives a $10 voucher, so some prizes given out tonight.
And Jonathan Wall was your pole sitter, so we're going to get that. It looks like we get the one to go signal on the pace car, let's turn off, and we'll go green next time by when they come around.
Alright, so a little minor incident kind of slows everybody up here. Hopefully they'll be able to get back into their groove as we go back to green racing here in about 3/4 of a lap. And thanks for everybody in chat for joining us today. We really do appreciate it. This is going to be a fun one, so stick around. And don't forget to hit that like button. Running a track temperature of 82 degrees, air temperature 65 degrees, so a pretty comfortable day out there for the race. Good grip out on the track.
Absolutely. 65-degree air temperature is actually the lowest you can go in iRacing, so can't get much shorter than that on the simulator here.
Considering what I've had to go through the last few days in real-world temperature, I'd take 65 any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Woke up on Wednesday morning with 31 below zero air temperature. All right, as that pace car makes that, I'm going to make that hard left turn to get out of the way. Releasing the field here in just a minute. And there goes the pace car. As the 22 machine leaves down the field, we're back to green flag racing at Daytona.
See, Ricardo gets a really good jump on the restart run. It's pretty good for him all the way up until about turn 2 when the field's going to catch him here. And you're interested to see if the outside lane's going to have an advantage as the inside will check up for him. As they get up through the gears, dive up in the 4th gear right about now.
Yeah, you know, and getting a good jump is usually a good thing, but in Daytona, if you get too much of a jump, that rest of that field will get that draft and blow right by you, as the 02 car, Mitch Reeves, is trying to do right now.
He made a move out to the outside, but unfortunately he just didn't get the push he needed from behind. Now looks like he's going to back up to 13, and it really needed that push for the car directly behind him to make that run and work, and the W0 in the 40 decided to stay below or behind the 22, so it's not going to happen for him. But now, W0, so he's going to go to the outside. His teammate's not going to follow him here, but something's setting a battle for the race lead.
Yeah, you know, and getting in the front's always the best place to be, I think. Clean air and keep everybody behind you, but that outside line needs a lot more help if they're going to make a challenge.
So we got a pretty good run here off of turn 2, and that's where you usually see the outside lane have his advantage, just coming off the corner as it's up on the banking more. They get a higher they get a bigger run off the corner and have more momentum carry down the straightaway. And then in the corners, the inside sort of on the racetrack, so then they gain the advantage back and really sets up for great side-by-side racing here. You see AJ Carno trying to block the outside lanes. Actually, he's going to turn.
Oh, the leader goes around through the grass.
The 40 also involved there.
Green flag is still out as of right now.
He's down in the grass, so most race officials call it. That's going to say green, but that was just a product of aggressive racing. Instead of 22, AJ Carno had the race lead, and he wanted to try to keep it there. And he actually tried blocking the 40 machine. It wasn't quite clear, and they made contact, and they both paid the price for it.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things you gotta be patient, but also know when to back off. Just because the hole is there doesn't mean it's going to stay there. So, I mean, we're only on lap 10, so that may have been just a little too aggressive for this early in the race. As you can see on the replay here, it was just kind of one of those things where the 22 drifted up a little bit. The 40 tried to plug that hole and didn't quite make it.
Looks like a tiny bit of net code also came into play a little bit there. Looking at the chopper cam, they didn't even make contact with each other, and unfortunately it's going to send them both around. But either way, obviously a pretty aggressive maneuver there by AJ Carno, trying to hold the race lead, and the net code between them spun them both around. And luckily for them, they didn't go down the pit road, which I think would probably be cleared by race officials, but either way, they didn't spin down the pit road, so they didn't get a black flag or anything. They were able to keep it going. And of course, we stayed green. And both still in the lead lap, it looks like, just without the draft, so they're still in the caution.
Yeah, and the 22 car is by himself, and so is the 40 car. So they're unless a caution comes out in a hurry, they're gonna lose some major time and maybe even lose a lap.
Up front, Mitchell Reeves holds on to the race lead. As you already see the pack kind of single file here, as you would expect from Daytona and Gen 6 and a full-length 500 race. As you see, the 0 and the 85 together on the outside, but just inside lane has so many more cars down there and so much more power compared to the two guys on the outside.
Yeah, and right now is the time to just kind of get your laps in. Stay behind, as I say that, the 30 car Bennery goes out to the outside to try and make a pass, and he is left out in the open.
Yeah, usually the best place, I'd say, to make the move like that, trying to pull out the line, is coming off the corner, as mentioned, the momentum you get, and if you do that, usually you have somebody follow, but then going into the corner, it's not the best place. You see the W0 machine take a 3 wide here. Hopefully the 85 is going to follow him through, so about 3 wide there for around 10th place or so, and obviously nothing too crazy at Daytona. You're going to expect to see this, and the 10's going to clear and go back to double file, but
makes you wonder if the 13 car is just falling back on purpose.
Yeah, that could also be the case. You see the 10 make a dive down to the bottom and try to pass the 85, and that peak antifreeze series scheme, one of my personal favorites, is putting boilers for 19 paint, and I definitely like the looks of that one.
Oh yeah, that's a slick looking car. We have to give a shout out to Over the Top Paints and Designs for doing a good chunk of the cars out today. They do a fantastic job.
You see, actually, he goes back to the outside as 85 is going to have to do a crossover here and pass it back down low. So the 10 actually is not going to go in front of Q2 there, less levy, so he's going to kind of stay at the top side. He also might be dropping back here.
As you see, the majority of the field now basically in single file with the exception of a couple of cars here and there. Kind of getting settled in here and get a nice long green flag run.
Yeah, obviously you can't win it, on lap 10, but lap 15, and it's better to, honestly it's not exactly the most exciting for these drivers, but better to turn laps and still be there when it counts the most at the end compared to, going 2 and 3 wide and wrecking a lot. So basically going to try to complete some laps here and get some laps in the belt before they go the fisticuffs.
Yeah, plenty of laps left before they can start bumping into each other. I'm giving a special shout out right now to the number 9 car, Glenn Fetty. That Coors paint job is just spectacular. I love that old school stuff. Looks like they got a battle of the beers back there with the number 9 and the number 2 there of Brian Tribble in the Miller Lite car.
Fortunately for me, I can see this paint scheme, so it didn't load in along with a couple others, but...
Well, they're really nice, take my word. Meanwhile, back up front, no real changes there. Mitch Reeves is still in the lead. Right behind him is Jeffrey Meyer. Brian Mazzell third. Dustin Covington in fourth. And Jonathan Waller, pole sitter, is currently in fifth. As now we start seeing the lead pack come up on those cars that were in that incident earlier. And when you're that much faster than a solo lap car, that can be a little hazardous.
Yeah, going about 200 over 200, you see another straightaway here. Mitch Reeves going to draft off a lap car. He's going to actually issues because it's a little bit sketchy there, but it looks like he reached about 204 miles an hour going into turn number 3. The car now goes a lap down. That's as a result of having the draft and losing all the time by spinning out. And you see the whole pack here passing on the outside.
Yeah, people might be saying, well, why did you just get out of the way? Well, as a driver, I can tell you that I would rather have a lap car just stay where he is and let me go around him than the other way around, because you can't predict if suddenly he decides he wants to move out of the way. If you guess wrong, you're just going to run right into him.
You see the 6 car here get behind him as he's kind of just boxed in, and you're trying to push him here to try to gain some of the spots back that he lost. And this means the engine car right now is currently in the free pass position if we were to get a caution flag, so that would definitely be great for him. And obviously, we're not going to go green the whole rest of the way here. It's very unlikely. You see the 4 go down there as well. If he's severely damaged, I guess he just actually not pick up fast for that last pit stop, so we'll pay the price for here.
Yeah, and now he is the... now he was just passed by the 22, so the 22 car would be in that free pass slot if the caution were to come out now.
The 40 actually also goes a lap down, but the 22 is going to pass him. And you see the damage, of course, after the contact between the 40 and the 22.
See the 62 getting a little loose up there, kind of goes up the top of the track a little bit, and now is going to start getting passed by that train on the bottom line.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when you're on the outside and you just make a little mistake and you lose the inside lane and you fall all the way to the back of his pack pretty much, and you feel like just our efforts were wasted for the start of the race. But obviously, a long ways to go here. Honestly, even the back isn't always the most terrible place to be in either. You can usually avoid the wrecks, and nobody gets racy for the race lead at the front. As you see, he's trying to find a slot in line. It looks like maybe we get one in behind the 25 here. If I can close that gap for 119, take it over.
Yeah, there is nothing more disheartening than to see that whole train go right by it, and there's not a thing you can do about it.
For complete lap number 20 here, about 10% away through this race. Mitch Reeves still leads in the 02 Chevrolet.
Oh, somebody going down below the double yellow line there. Gets a little hair raising once you get below inside that apron.
It may have been the 22 Major Cardinal as he has Jeffrey Merck trying to side draft on the outside. Remember, 22 is a lap down since it's not for a position, but obviously he wants to stay in this lead pack and try to hope for that caution, wait it out. Let's see, the 6 going to get clear of him now, and 22 going to try to fall in line. He does have some damage from that contact, so it's going to hurt his car a little bit as far as speed goes. As we get the 13 going to try to pass on the outside.
Yeah, we got a little bit of, it looks like the 19 or the 119 car of Corey Stansel. This scraped the wall just a little bit, but it didn't seem to slow him down too much, as we got kind of a little bit of a pack here brewing. I'd say 12 to 20. Oh, major contact!
Right, here's the 44 Ray Richard E-spinner. The caution flag is going to come out. Looks like the 28 hits the outside wall head on there, and I got a couple cars involved in this one.
The 73 is involved also. Doesn't look like the 8 took any damage there. 30 car looks like he's got some damage.
The 40 got put in the wall there.
Yep, he sure did.
take a look back here on the MaxSpeedTV replay, and looks like, you know, obviously that the 118 hit the wall and kind of got everybody kind of shook up and out of order. And then the 10 is on his rear bumper, and then looks like the 44 just came up the racetrack. I'm not sure if he thought he was clear or just accidentally let go of the steering wheel or something there.
Yeah, it's almost like he went up and didn't even realize he was there, and that got about 6 cars involved in that one.
Yeah, see, he puts him in the wall. And you can see just, you know, bounce off the outside wall, and at that point really Salon for the ride. You see he tags the 41, and the 10 just squeaked out of that. He almost got clipped in the right rear corner panel, but luckily he was able to miss it. Then it looks like the 2, the 88 pile in after, trying to avoid. The 28 gets spun into the outside wall and takes a hard lick there.
Alright, so I believe we're going to start seeing some pit stops now after 23 laps in. Feeding time at the zoo has begun.
And it's definitely very possible to just take fuel only here, or at least 2 tires. You see H. Carter now. That caution helped him as he's going to get his lap back and get back on pace with these guys. But it's possible to just take no tires, or even sometimes 2 tires if you're really up to it. At Daytona, obviously, it's a plate track. You're going full throttle around here, and you don't need to. You're not burning up your tires at all. So you can take no tires here for a good 80 or 100 laps or so before they really start to affect your handling a lot. But
yeah, exactly.
This early on in the race, I think you're probably going to see a lot of guys take tires just because they don't have to towards the end of the race if that's the case, and obviously there's not as much right now.
Yeah, you know, and depending on how much fuel they used up, if you're taking 2 tires, it takes just as long as filling the tank up. Alright, looks like one car, or a couple of cars decided to stay out on the track. See, the 25 of Bucky Burt is still out. He is shown as the leader right now.
Looks like Robert McFarland is running 36 there, 3rd in line, but he's 1 lap down. He was trying to get the wave around, but because the 25 and the 42 stayed out, he's not going to get that unless they pit right here. As Reeves, the first car in, the first car out of pit road there. The 25 is hitting his way down the pit road with the 42. Their pole sitter, Jonathan Wall, is going to stay out, which is now going to keep the 1 car a lap down. They're going to have to hold from their caution to get free pass.
As we see the 25 car in and taking his pit stop, I believe he just wanted to lead a lap or something.
So he's only taking 4 tires here.
And if you're going to go to the back, you might as well. Alright, well, that was a pretty decent green flag stint here. I think everybody's pretty much, or they will know how their car is going to handle from here on out, as the track seems to be pretty good condition still. Track temperature is dropping a little bit though, so that could play into it a little bit.
I think it's because you can see it's kind of darker out of the clouds.
Yeah.
I think have gone with the sun, just kind of cooled the track off a little bit. Which, if it does stay like this for a while with the cloud cover, it's going to burn the tires up even less. So, I think you can see these guys go a long way on just one set of tires and finish the load in the car full of fuel. So I do believe we'll get the window signal of the pace car this time, but I have to see when it crosses the stripe and see if it will turn off or not.
Alright, yep, we do have one to go here. As Jonathan Wall is going to stay on the inside with Mitch Reeves on his outside.
If I'm not mistaken, that's actually how this race started off. The 42 inside, the other 2 on the outside.
Yep, we're right back to where we started.
And actually, looking at the running order here, Jeffrey Merck was qualified in 3rd, and then James O'Brien was in 5th, so he's slightly out of line, but top 3 all the same as ever they rolled off the grid.
Looks like we still have 33 cars on the lead lap and 38 cars in the field right now. I do see one car was disconnected. That was the 24 car of Corey Blevins.
Also, he lost connection, unfortunately. And, in that last crash, it's actually 29 that went into the outside roll. Small mistake there. 29 of Brett McCoy, not the 28. But that's the field here coming through turns number 3 and 4. At pace car speed, but gotta get the green flag here for only the 2nd restart of tonight.
Yeah, it looks like the sun's coming back out just in time for that pace car to make that hard left turn in, releasing the field. And the green flag is back out as Jonathan Wall gets us going again here at Daytona.
And good reset there with Mitchell Reeves on the outside as well, and restart by James O'Brien behind him. That's going to let him have a pretty decent shot here trying to battle for race lead as they go to the corner. Looks like 6 kind of squeaking his way up there actually on the outside. A little bit aggressive, but it kind of worked for him. It's actually squeaking the 76 there of Ronald Klein. Klein, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did it on purpose or if he just had an ill-handling car there at the beginning, but these guys are definitely fighting for that lead spot as Jeffrey Merck tries to get the lead from Jonathan Wall, and he's going to clear him.
Jonathan Wall got left out of dry right there. We ditched him to the outside, and that's going to cause him to lose about 3 spots there. As you see now, the 02 Mitchell Reeves still not done yanking him off the outside. Jeffrey Merck can get that race lead as he hits the push from behind him. We just come by at the stripe and pushing this out. Can he get cleared? So it looks like he might be able to go into turn number 1.
Yeah, watch out there, James. They're getting a little squirrely there. Let these guys settle in for a little bit here.
Got race down by straight away. Still on just side by side currently for that race lead as the 02 is almost clear, but is not able to quite drop down, and Bill Zero there right there behind him. There's about 3 cars as well lined up all on the outside lane, trying to go to the front a little bit here.
Yeah, it's a really good battle for lead as Ronald Klein is trying to find a spot, and he's got to watch out. If he gets put in that center line, he is going to go all the way back. I believe DW calls that the sucker hole.
You see John come on now, he gets cleared as he go to the outside in front of the 02 coming off the corner, as he just content and right in second. Looks like he's gonna now go to the outside as 02 Reeves fakes and goes low, try to take that spot away.
They just kind of traded spots there.
Yeah, pretty much crossed each other over. As now the 42 is on the outside of the 02 Mitchell Reeves. They're side for second, but the 6 machine, Jeffrey Merck, holds on to the race lead, currently is clear. And just as I say that, the 42 makes the run to the outside, gets a bit of side draft, but unfortunately for him, the 00 kind of fell off his rear bumper, and it's going to hurt him here.
You know what I think it's time to do? I think it's time to crank it up. What do you say?
That was a good idea.
All right, let's do this. Crank it up. Crank it up. I said it. I guess we're gonna crank it up now instead. Any time is fine. I think we've had enough. All right. Welcome back. As we have Jeffrey Merck in the lead, our pole sitter, Jonathan Wall, is all the way back in 13th as he was left high and dry on that high line.
Yeah, it goes to show if you're left by yourself here, not the drafting partner, you're going to jump the back very quickly. You saw him right there. He's bound for the race lead and went that crank it up, and now it looks like he's all the way back in 14th position. So about a 13 place position loss right there for the 42 machine.
The nice thing is that he is still attached to that lead pack, so he's definitely still in pretty good shape.
You look back here, the 8 of Chris Scales in the 77 right there behind him, Josh Sleater. They have lost this lead draft, and they're trying to tame the draft together, but that's not quite as fast as being in a huge pack that you see in the front of the field. But then if you go a little bit further behind them, they actually got a really racy pack back here. Looks like we have the 73 here leading this train. Gene Rogers is... oh, we got a spinner, actually. Hill car's around. That's going to cause a crash and a caution. That was the 35 of Travis Lajones, as that Bass Pro Shop Steady goes around. So the 25 of Bucky Burke, he has some damage to the going for a spin there. As soon as I went back to him, they started wrecking.
Oh, and that poor 40 car gets into the 35 as he goes back up the track.
Look at the replay here. It's coming to the trial pole, probably the trickiest spot around this racetrack is, you see they're going 2 and 3 wide. When I went back here, then looks like the Bass Pro Shop 35 right there just came up the track a little bit into the 25, and the 25 was kind of pinching and came down the track just a tiny bit, and they made contact, and then the 25 sit on the racetrack. He tagged the 35 up the track into traffic. As you mentioned there, Keith got the 40, got a lot of front end damage after hitting the 35 right there. So a 3-car accident here for the third caution of today.
All right. While we're under this caution, we're going to step away for just a minute and be back after this.
Or just want to treat yourself, check out Expressions by Erica on Facebook.
Cups, hats, t-shirts,
Heat Transfer Vinyl,
graphics, and much, much more. Treat yourself with a personalized monogram to go on your Yeti cooler or the back of your car.
Erica does it all.
Need something that says I love you for Valentine's Day, your anniversary, or even birthday? Erica has you covered with the best gift for all of those special occasions. Missy from Facebook says, they did an amazing job on what I ordered. They also did it very quickly, even though I had it shipped from South Carolina to Tennessee. I highly recommend them. Thank you, girls.
Also from Facebook, Casey says, great job. And they did it last minute for me since I completely forgot I needed it. Everyone loved it.
Contact Expressions by Erica by calling 843-810-3883 and like us on Facebook.
Expressions by Erica.
You can buy used vehicle anywhere, but the only place to buy a used vehicle with complimentary lifetime oil changes and car washes and a low, upfront, plain and simple price is Fred Anderson Toyota. When you get a Fred Anderson Toyota pre-owned, you don't just get the car, you get value, protection, and peace of mind.
Shop over 1,000 quality used vehicles, plus hundreds of used Toyotas to choose starting under 10 grand with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
Take home a Fred Anderson Toyota pre-owned today.
iRacing, the world's biggest premier in online sim racing, gives you, the driver, an experience of a lifetime in competing against some of the best drivers in the world. All drivers take their hand at each track and they want to look good while putting it up front. Wouldn't you like to do the same? Introducing iWraps, one of the leading online iRacing paint venues, offers you any custom paint that you desire. Show off your sponsors and style while running some of the greatest sim racers out there and look great while pounding the pavement or spinning in the dirt. Any color or any design, no request is too small. From sprint cars to cup cars, they cover anything you want. Want to show off at local venue? Or how about running one of your favorite real-world drivers' paint? iWraps does it all. Custom suits, helmets, cars, and logos. Just ask and they will make it look like $1 million while you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. iWraps produce high-quality virtual paint designs for iRacing vehicles of all kinds. Search iWraps on Facebook and send a message today to make your iRacing experience more than just making laps in a pre-made paint scheme. iWraps, the top of the line in online racing paint wraps.
Alright, welcome back to Daytona, where we're currently under our, I believe, third caution of the day for a small incident. Getting ready to go back green here in about a lap and a half or so, I believe.
You're marking that 6th entry currently in the race, even Mitchell Reeves. He seems to have been the guy in second place all race here, but he didn't line up on the outside. As I mentioned, we should get the one go signal this time by. We come off turn 4, we're going to find that out when they cross the finish line here. Only on lap number 39 of that 200, and we'll go green, it'll be lap 40, so still 161 laps to go here. Once we hit that green flag, pit lights do turn off, and these guys will line up double file for the restart, but obviously still a long ways to go here. Not even anywhere near being halfway through this thing yet.
And it does look like that 119 car did take his car behind the wall and is out of this race.
That was back at the first car one lap down. That's the 40 of Garrett Potts. Remember, he was involved in the 22 there when that crash happened. That caution to come out for, then just got involved in the latest caution that currently we're under. You can see the front end is completely torn off of that Chevrolet, so definitely going to hurt his speed. He's going to lose a draft here probably as soon as you go green. And I think he must have used a faster when he had that contact with the 22, so he's going to have to be left with this damage the rest of the race, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's too bad, because that's going to make it for a very long day. Alright, I think it's your turn to get him going this time.
I do believe it is, so Hiska rolls the field off of turn number 4, and that Ford Mustang is going to head its way onto the safety of pit lane. These guys lose for the third restart from today, as the 6 of Jeffrey Merck is going to move the field back to the green flag. He's on the gas. We're backing away here from Daytona on lap number 40.
No, it's like that the car that was right behind him was caught napping as the 2 outside cars get right behind him.
Yeah, that honestly looked a little bit like a teammate move there, getting going earlier than having your teammate fall in line behind you, but those 2 cars are kind of now together up in the front here. And looking at the team speak, they are not teammates actually, so I guess that was just a pretty good reaction on the Mitchell Reeves there to try to ditch in line, or duck in line behind him there and try to push him and just get single fall here early. And you see the 6's kind of early start on the restart. It's got separated its field a little bit back here. And looks like about 7th place. You have Ronald Klein in that 76 machine, a little bit behind, still right there in the draft as these guys get more organized. But 6-car pull-away, or gap pretty much between 6th and 7th place is pretty big. You see, look, they got a pretty good run right here, though. They might just get a hold of that 13's draft and pull up to this lead pack and make everybody back together again, but pretty spread out in single file as you might expect.
Yep. I think we need to see this race from a driver's perspective. We're going to ride along with what is it, the 05 car of Gary Whitmer Jr.
You're kind of right there behind that 73, that being Gene Rogers. And just, take a fall hole around the yellow line right there, and you have to let off the gas a little bit. It's not fully full throttle around here in the pack. You're going to get the draft, you get around the guy in front of you, and you can't really push somebody when they're right behind somebody else. It's going to stack the field up and cause a crash. So he's trying to war with him here. It's pretty much full throttle right now, so they check up a little bit. They have to let off the gas here once again.
Yeah, and as you can see from the driver's perspective, these cars may look smooth out when you're looking at them from the outside, but they are moving all over the place when you see them in the cockpit.
See the 10 there go to the outside and lose the inside lane advantage that he had, so he's gonna pull the back of this pack here as the single file train a little bit behind the lead pack right there. You can see the gap there between the 88 and he's in front of him, the tail end of that lead pack, but they're on the race, so it's not a huge worry at all.
I gotta say, seeing these in-car shots makes me miss racing.
And back up front here, from Merck, still hold on the race lead as everybody's still pretty single file. You see the 41 out of line a little bit there. Get rid of Wood. You're going to get past by everybody on the inside. He's going to fall in line now behind the 85. But that second pack did catch the lead pack, but as you're right on board there with the 05, you saw the gap there between him and or that pack he's in and this lead pack, which I don't think it's going to really close up that easily. You see Carnadale pushing that 88 towards the front and doing a nice job at it, even with that damage he has a little bit on the corner panel from that contact earlier. So these guys might just catch this lead pack. The current looks like about a second behind. It's not a huge gap in close, but definitely work cut out for them.
Yeah, and if they get under a second, they can usually catch back up, because generally that's the point where the draft starts helping you out.
At the same token, they look back at the tail end of the lead pack, and 85 and 41 have kind of actually lost that draft, and it might be why this second pack's catching them so much. It looks like they have kind of fallen out of that lead draft. That's just kind of a product of this Gen 6 Cup racing and the package we currently have. It's it's definitely not forgiving. If you get the lid off the gas at the tail end of a pack, you will end up losing the draft most likely, and there's nothing really much you can do about it. But currently kind of in the middle between the two packs, so not exactly in the prominent position they want to be in here. But obviously, at least they have a drafting partner, so they're still going to be on pace.
And just as a reminder for everybody out there in real world NASCAR, the Daytona 500 will be the last race that they use the restrictor plates. So that could change up all kinds of things, especially when iRacing has to figure out how to do these aero packages for the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, I've actually heard some rumors that it's expected to come out maybe as soon as March, so it's definitely going to shake things up a little bit there.
Oh yeah. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Merck in the 6 car is still leading this entire train around this track as we're working on lap 48.
This is one I kind of expected to see, honestly, where it started the race. Is once we complete lap 50, we'll be 1/4 of the way through this one, but still early on.
Oh, 18 car looks like he got into the wall there. Gets down below that yellow line to kind of gather it back up and gets back up to speed, but he does have some pretty significant right side damage, and that's going to hurt.
Yeah, it's going to hurt his speed, and now he's lost most of the back. You see the cars there off in the distance behind him. You should be able to probably pick up here and get in the draft, but definitely not going to help him as I don't think it's necessarily a fast repair, but it's probably a good 25 seconds, I would say, or so of optional damage. It's going to obviously hurt his speed. You see the second pack, the pack behind him kind of catching him here a little bit, 15. David Johnson and others, actually they're going to pass him on the outside, so maybe the pull line behind him here, or the damage is too bad. He might actually lose the entire draft here, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to catch on to the. No, I'm not sure if he's just trying to stay out of the way or what, but I don't think he's going to be able to latch onto the back of this draft. It does separate a little bit trying to get around him, but I don't think he's going to be able to stay back there.
Yeah, luckily for him, there was a couple of cars behind him, and you see a couple of them with significant damage at the 40 with no front end, so I think he definitely could probably draft with them. And even though they are that severely damaged, they still can draft together and be faster than them riding by themselves. So hopefully he can latch onto them and not lose a lap here going the adrenaline. But back up front, I see that pack still single file. Nothing really much has changed at all to speak of, and just kind of trying to complete laps here and turn as many as possible, get them down and under their belt before they get really racy here and get dicey. So and this lap is now lap 50, so once we complete this lap, we'll be a quarter of the way through this one.
And I believe they're just content kind of staying where they're at. They don't want to get too crazy right now because there's still a lot of races to go.
Of course, this is kind of the moment of the race as well. You're going to see this even probably towards the end of the race. You might see a single file pack, even though towards the end of the race, somebody kind of wants to get aggressive and try to win the race. And it's kind of a product, like I mentioned earlier, the Gen 6 Cup racing. It's just it doesn't really produce a ton of side-by-side racing. You really have to have Jeff with you and somebody to work with. You see the 60 over the outside there, and you kind of got ditchy pull back in line. It's basically everybody kind of playing chicken with each other. They kind of, they don't want to go out of line because they're worried the guy behind them might not fall, and then they go all to the back of this pack and lose about 10 or 12 spots. So it's really, you're going to have teammates and you're going to have friends and buddies to try to work together with and pull out and make a run, get some guys to go with you, and you can make something happen. But if you're just kind of a stranger in this pack and you don't have anybody to work with, you pull out a line and you just kind of 50-50 whether or not the guy behind you is going to help you, and whether or not you go from third to first, you go from third to 12.
Yeah, that's for sure. You seem to have a lot more friends at the beginning of racing than you do at the end. At the end, it's pretty much every driver for themselves.
See the 35 there go a lap down. After that latest caution, he got taken out in, so the damage to 35. I think also somebody up in front of him there. That's a 10. What happened to him? pretty capable of some right front damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure unless he scraped the wall or something.
Oh, looks like he actually spun out on the front straightaway.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, I was in line. Oh, he caught the apron in the triangle, and it was just enough to get the car out of shape, and he went for a big slide here, and luckily he was able to hang on to that thing and not get any damage out of that to speak of. He already had that damage from before, I guess. But obviously, fortunately, now lost a lap to the leaders, but he's in that pre-pass position and isn't really being contended for it unless he loses his draft here. So got to basically do what 22 was doing earlier and hope for a caution. Looks like Robert McFarland has lost connection here, unfortunately, in the number 1 car. So he's going to go several laps down and probably not be able to make that back up.
And currently there are 30 cars on the lead lap, with the number 51 of David Kane's the last one on the lead lap as of right now. No real changes up front, as we still have the basically the top 12 cars in their own little pack, and then they are about 5 seconds ahead of the next pack, which is currently being led by Chris Scales in the 8 machine.
And back in the second pack, you do have 77 and the 50 trying to go to the front of this pack here and try to lead the way. But honestly, the side-by-side racing kind of will actually slow them down compared to where his lead pack is, and that's entirely single file. And you're side-by-side, you're kind of side-drafting each other, and you're kind of slowing each other down and try to pull yourself ahead. But right now, with these guys side-by-side, obviously they're too far behind to really make it back up unless we get a caution here. But they're kind of just slowing each other down and causing this pack even more time. But also super easy to just let off the gas. And like right now, if the 50 and the 77 decide to back off and try to fall in line, they would end up most likely losing the draft. If you see the 77 actually get clear of the 8, and you're going to drop down to 50 now, left by himself on the outside.
And he's just going to start going backwards unless he can find a spot to get into real fast. And if they can stay in single file, they might be able to start catching up to that lead pack.
Yeah, the gap's about almost 6 seconds now, as they lost about a second over the course of 2 laps just because of the fact they were side by side there. And it is a long race, and obviously pitch strategy. A lot of guys do take tires here at Daytona, so the pitch strategy could come into play. And some of these guys will be able to latch onto a couple of leaders, but it's obviously very tough without a caution. I wouldn't say it's entirely possible, but it's going to be interesting to see. As you see, the 50 now falling backwards, and it's this front of pack now is single file, so that should help them out definitely. But the gap is going to across that finish looks like it's going to be about now to the loss. Another 10th there, so that's about 5.9 seconds is that gap between the last place car, 41 in the lead pack, and the 77 leader of the second pack. But
and they're going to try to start making their way back up, as looks like the 68 car, Brandon Thornhill, in 12th, has lost that lead pack a little bit. They're kind of getting a little racy there toward the rear of the lead pack there, maybe, or they're going around some lap traffic and they kind of broke it up a little.
And usually you also see that as a part of this this package too. As I mentioned earlier, the couple of guys who's in the draft, it's just if you're the last car in this pack, you don't have something behind you, pushing you and kind of keeping you in check. If you let off the gas, you go check up in the slightest bit, and you fall off the paces a little bit, you're pretty much out of the draft, and you really don't have any chance to make it back up. Even if you're at full throttle from that point on, and just it's that slightest bit of letting off the gas and letting up to try to avoid something, and you're pretty much done for. It looks like he's going to try to draft here with the damaged lap car of Daniel Keynes in the 51, but obviously with that front end damage, it's not going to be anywhere near as fast as the leaders are.
And that 18 car gets out of the way in a hurry as he's up way at the top of the track there, allowing this lead pack to go by.
Now with that 68 of Brendan Thornhill losing the draft and not just this lead pack down from 12 to 11. And you're going to continue to see that dwindle down as we continue now that, the 41, Gabriel Wood, is in that position as the last car in this lead pack. And if there's a checkup in front of him, he has a checkup or anything, and he could potentially also just kind of fall out of it and get shuffled out of the draft. So you're interested to see if that happens. It usually takes a long time if it does happen. And of course, your input pit stops are going to definitely come into play here sometime around lap 100, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say, they might be starting to think a little bit of pit strategy, or who do you go with? You certainly can't pit by yourself, otherwise you are pretty much done for.
Yeah, your pit stops is where that tire strategy really comes into play. Do you take no tires? And obviously, if they fill the car full of fuel, they probably would just take 2 tires because it doesn't take up any extra time as they change tires while changing or adding, fuel to the car. So I feel like you'll probably just see right or left side tire pit stops here, and some guys might just take no tires just in case. And if you do take 4 tires, I can almost probably guarantee you're going to lose this lead draft and have to hook up with somebody else. So you're interested to see how that all plays out, and if we stay green that long and have those pit stops.
Pretty sure the teammates are starting to chatter between each other, and people who you're next to see if they can coordinate pit stops here, which should be coming up here not too much further down the road.
Absolutely, teammates are so helpful in Super Street Race. It's so crazy. Most people just think about the drafting portion of it, but as you mentioned, just the pit stops. It's so helpful to have a couple of guys plan out when they're going to pit together, and that way you're pretty much guaranteed to have a drafting partner as long as they don't, speed on pit road or whatever. And it's also very helpful when trying to organize coming to pit road because everybody kind of ducks down to the apron and tries to get out of the way, but then sometimes they make contact because it's not super wide down there to try to get onto pit road. But if you have teammates you're able to communicate with, if you have one guy go to the bottom of the track, one guy go in the middle, one guy to go to the top. So it's definitely very, very nice to have the communication and have teammates to work with.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping that we have a long enough green flag run to see some green flag stops, so that's going to change up the entire complexion of this race.
Yeah, you're going to see the field get really spread out if that's the case, and you're going to see lap cars really come into play and help out the lead lap cars with the draft and try to get your drafting partners together. But some of these guys also, they pitted at different times under those cautions, so some guys have more fuel than others. You might just have to see some duck down pit road with only 1 or 2 guys, or maybe by themselves, and then, the whole field comes in, the rest of the field comes in together or something like that. But we'll have to wait and see, and obviously, I think these guys can go about 40 or so laps, I'd guesstimate, on the tank of fuel.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I might be a couple laps on either side of that, but and if you're in the draft, you can save a little bit more fuel than the guy who's up front. But yeah, it's not going to be anything too significant. Maybe a little bit further back in the pack, that second pack, led by the 12th place car of Josh Steeler in the 77. They're still kind of fighting each other here. That's definitely not going to help try to catch back up to that lead pack.
Yeah, you see that 29 on the outside there of Chris Scales, so I think at this point they've kind of just given up and they're just going to try to hope for a caution, which you almost guarantee we will see here. I don't we're going to go green the rest of the 150 laps here or so, but obviously it is a potentiality these guys could go a lap down at the rate they're going right now. They might just have that happen. They're definitely losing a lot of time as the gap now is about 7.5 seconds, so it just continues to grow every single lap that you complete here.
And we are starting to see a couple of pit stops. I see the 68 car of Brandon Thornhill just come off of pit road. I'm not sure if it's because he had damage or what, but he definitely was on pit road for a little bit.
Now, he does have damage in that car. Looks like he's actually come down on pit road here. I'm not sure.
Again.
Yeah, I guess he's going to repit. So he's already a lap down, so now put him 2 laps down.
And we're starting to see green flags pit stops as the 02 car comes in and the 6 car of Jeffrey Merca. And a car spinning through the grass. I believe that was Is that the 40? Who was that? No.
Alright, man, caution is out.
Caution flag, that looks like we
That
have the
was a 73 car. Oh, he drives through the grass and brings out the caution.
As I mentioned, green flag pit stops really, really hard at these plate tracks. It's very easy to get together as everybody kind of scrambles on the pit road and tries to slow down in this time, and you see the result of that right there. Is look at the MaxSpeedTV replay here, and the 73 tries to come down on the pit road, following everybody else, and he's just trying to slow it up to get down to pit road speed. And I guess his brake bias is a little bit off as he kind of spins the car sideways. He actually goes in the grass and hangs onto it, so I'm kind of surprised the caution flag came out for that. But that will put us on the caution flag right in the middle of these pit stops, which is going to cost the guys who went down pit road right there.
Yeah, that's definitely going to mess some guys up a little bit here. As the 02 car of Mr. Reeves looks like he got out of pit road first, but he is scored his one lap down for now. But we'll wait and see how these pit stops shape out.
And I'm pretty sure if you're on pit road and the caution flag comes out, it closes the pit exit, and so when you go through it, it's going to give you an end of the line penalty. So I believe it puts you at the very tail end of the field. So we'll have to see if that comes into play here or not, what exactly happens to those guys. Now Brian Bizzle is in the race lead as a result of that in that halfway number 60.
Tell you what, how about we take a quick break, and then when they're done with pit stops, we bring somebody up here to talk to. What do you think of that?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right, so we'll be back right after this, and we'll have a driver interview for you when we come back.
Sim racing gives you, the driver, an experience of a lifetime in competing against some of the best drivers in the world. All drivers take their hand at each track, and they want to look good while putting it up front. Wouldn't you like to do the same? Introducing iWrap. One of the leading online iRacing paint venues offers you any custom paint that you desire. Show off your sponsor's new style while running some of the greatest sim racers out there, and look great while pounding the pavement or spinning in the dirt. Any color or any design, no request is too small. From sprint cars to cup cars, they cover anything you want. Want to show off that local venue? Or how about running one of your favorite real-world drivers' paint? iWraps does it all. Custom suits, helmets, cars, and logos. Just ask and they will make it look like $1 million while you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. iWraps produce high-quality virtual paint designs for iRacing vehicles of all kinds. Search iWraps on Facebook and send a message today to make your iRacing experience more than just making laps in a pre-made paint scheme. iWraps, the top of the line in online racing paint wraps. Need to tell the world something? Need to get it out there? How about making your ride just a little more sharp? From t-shirts to vinyl graphics to banners, your one-stop shop is Rumar Vinyl Creation. Want to make that truck stand out? Or maybe a banner for your next business gathering? Rumar can do it all. They can even screen print on most anything. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, even that lucky pair of sweatpants you just can't throw out. Yep, they can do that too. For your next event, gathering, or race, your one call should be to Rumar Vinyl Creation. Find us on Facebook or just give us a call, 315-222-3423. To Rumar Vinyl Creation.
You can buy a used vehicle anywhere, but the only place to buy a used vehicle with complimentary lifetime oil changes and car washes and a low, upfront, plain and simple price is Fred Anderson Toyota. When you get a Fred Anderson Toyota Pre-Owned, you don't just get the car. You get value, protection, and peace of mind.
Shop over 1,000 quality used vehicles, plus hundreds of used Toyotas to choose starting under 10 grand with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
Take home a Fred Anderson Toyota Pre-Owned today.
All right, welcome back. I think we're going to bring up the guy who's been leading a good chunk of this race today, Jeffrey Merck. Hey, Jeff Merck, it's Keith and Lucas up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Tell me about your race so far. You're doing pretty good up there.
Man, this thing's a rocket ship, but I mean, it is Daytona. This Covington Motorsports Four Seasons Chevy Camaro ZL1 is, she's the Pied Piper right now. I feel like Dale Jr. out here in front of everybody, but give it about 5 to go, it'll probably be a totally different story.
Yeah, it seems like you are working well with pretty much anybody who's behind you. Is that the case? Is your car handling pretty well?
Oh yeah, this thing is. It's stuck to the track. There's no doubt about that.
All right. So, what do you think? You liking a long green flag run, or do you like these breaks in the middle?
I wish we'd go green in the end, because I think we got a pack of cars up front, or we had a pack of cars up front for this caution. Mixed us all up, that where we could just. We were working well together. We were staying in line. I think we had about a 10-car pack, just pulling away from the rest of the field. But we'll see what happens with this new group that's up here. I think it took that second big group, mixed them up with the first group, and we'll see what happens from here. Hopefully I can bring this Covington Motorsports Four Seasons Camaro, put her in victory lane for the Daytona 500.
All right, man. Well, good luck with the rest of the race. Hopefully see you in victory lane.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, you heard it right from the leader's mouth. That car is in really good shape, and I don't expect to see him fall too much further back than that.
No, and he remember he was one of those guys who pitted right as the caution flag came out, so I guess he did not get a penalty at all, luckily, so it looks like he's going to hold on to that race lead.
Yeah, as we have 27 cars listed as on the lead lap, with the 10 car at the 27th, the last car on the lead lap, as we're just about ready to get these guys back to the ring as that pace car flees in terror down pit road. And Jeffrey Merck gets to go, and his green flag is out back here at Daytona. Gets a good jump and gets right out to the lead as the 13 car, Brandon Murray, falls in right behind him and gets to that inside line.
You already see there that 76 left to drive on the outside, going to fall the back here until he's able to find an opening or someone gets in behind him and actually trying to pinch the 41 right there. That's Ronald Klein. Left that a drafty partner already just as soon as he put the green flag. He pretty much got ditched and left that to drive there. So, we got a caution flag already.
Looks like the 00 of James Brown gets some heavy contact from, I think that's the 20, does that say the 29 of Brent McCoy? It's hard to tell with that number. I can't read it very well, but...
Yeah, Starcom car?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, from that.
All right, yeah, so it looks like James Brown drifts up the track a little bit. The 29 car tries to fill that hole that there wasn't there and spins him around, and he gets heavy contact. Kind of lifts himself off the ground a little bit, as also the 05 gets into that as a kind of an innocent bystander and all that.
It's the damage now on the 00 and the 29 there. Nothing, I'd say too serious. By about a minute or so, if I'd estimate, of optional repairs, which at this point in the race, you might just take, honestly, and try to hold out, bank on another caution or two here. And it's nothing too severe to, absolutely knock you off the pace. Definitely will affect your speed for sure. And I remember the 29 ended up having contact after being turned into the wall, I believe, at about the second crash there, so he does not actually have a fast car left. The 00 that I do believe does, so...
Yeah, and it does appear as that 28 car of Brett McCoy was disqualified. So he is no longer in the race after that incident.
So as I heard this guy set down early to 00 right there of James Brown trying to see what he can do with that car. Interested to see if he does in fact use a fast car or not. Looks like.
Not sure if he has yet or not either. That's an interesting point.
And poor changed tires here, so no.
And poor Gary Whitmer there, who we were following earlier, has some fairly severe damage to that car.
Yeah, I think he's actually come off the road here, not take a fast repair, but definitely that car very much torn up. He's going to be way off pace here, I believe, with all that damage in that set of Camry. So, but this early in the race is kind of a choice you make. Do you risk using that fast repair to gain that speed and to be able to stay in the pack, or do you try to save it in case you get caught up in another accident? It's really just really tough call, honestly, as a driver to make.
Yeah, and we're not even halfway through this race yet, and to use your fast repair in the first half of the race is kind of painful because you really have to maybe do things you wouldn't want to do to not risk getting damaged.
So when we go back green here, we'll be just under 125 laps to go, so we're getting closer and closer to that halfway point in this race.
We see everybody just kind of taking easy around the pit road. I see that James Brown is still listed on the lead lap. He is in 26th right now.
And looking at it, Gary Whitmer actually decided to come back down pit road and use that fast repair. So he's taking that choice, I guess, after coming in and looking at how much damage there was to repair. So he's made the risk of using that fast repair early here, and gonna have to try to ride in the back and avoid carnage here. I want to try to survive here for the end.
Yeah, hopefully a nice, clean-looking car is going to stay that way. Kind of listening on some of the radio chatter there. The admins are trying to get these guys to settle down a little bit. But, as a driver, it's like, yeah, right.
And speaking of being a driver, one of the hardest parts of this is that obviously we can see just fine being from the TV cameras here, but when you get caught up in a crash, you don't really know how much damage you have. Obviously, you can kind of see sometimes your hood get crinkled in front of your windshield, and when you come down pit road, obviously the pit crew tells you how much time it's going to take, but other than that, you really don't have much idea how much damage you have, whether or not it's going to affect your speed, and you kind of have to try to ask guys around you on the track if they can try to give you a consensus of how much damage you have and where it is. But I think that's what happened to the 05. He came down pit road, he wanted to see how much he had, realized he had a lot of damage and knew it was going to affect him, so he decided to come back down pit road and take that fast repair.
Yeah, and honestly, if your car is going to be that affected by the damage you have, you really don't have a choice. If you want to have any shot at finishing decently here, you need to get that car fixed as quickly as you can. And he is still on the lead lap too, which is nice. So that will definitely help him in the long run. As we're coming to the green flag this time by, Jeffrey Merck still in the lead. Brandon Murray in the 13 car in second. Les Levy, the 62 car in third, which we've had several people wanting us to interview him, so maybe we'll get to him in the next time around. Gabriel Wood in fourth, and Ronald Klein rounding out your top five as we're just about ready to get back to green here.
Interesting to see if the 6 has that early jump on the refill like he has in the last few times he's been moving the field to the green. Usually goes pretty early, and Wonder if he does, if the rest of the field catch on and try to go at the same time. As we're going to find out here as we come through the short chute here. The pace car going to make its way down onto the safety of pit lane. And that 6 is going to go to the green flag. He's going to go pretty early again, and he's on the gas.
Yeah, he wasted no time getting on the gas there. He said he has a rocket ship. I think he just proved it there. Whoa, easy, fellas, as the 41 car gets kind of punted to the outside line there by the 62 of Les Levy.
It's loving it. It's no time to try to get to the front of this pack, and looks like now he's kind of falling off. Actually, maybe kind of let him back in line. Kind of looks like he just let him back in line right there, so that's kind of his way of apologizing, I suppose, as the 60's actually going to go to the outside, and now the 41's going to go back with him, so it's kind of all for naught right there, as so he's going to hit the spot back now on the inside, and...
Whoa! 13 car there of Brandon Murray, who's kind of taking a look on the inside of Jeffrey Merck, but decided against it.
Yeah, it's so tempting being right there behind the leader. Obviously, you want to go get after and get that lead and hold that position in case caution flag comes out. As you see the 6 trying to block both lanes, and they're going to take it 3 wide and split.
Oh yeah, that's not going to do anybody any good at all, as he chose poorly there, as that inside line is going to eat him up.
The inside line is going to eat him up, and now the 41 is going to drop like a rock to the back, as he has absolutely no help from behind. He's going to slot in line right in front of the 48 right there, but once the balance to the lead all the way back to about 5th place here. And now the 6 trying to hold off the 13 on the inside, but stands the lane not quite formed up yet enough for him to really do that.
Trying to get a little side draft there off of Brandon Murray there. It doesn't quite get there. See who leads coming to the line, and Jeffrey Merck still does lead that lap. So far, that was his 48th lap led out of the 78 laps we have run. So he has been up there all day. As he manages to clear the 13 car, let's see if he goes to the inside or if he's going to try that block maneuver again.
Yeah, looks like he's going to try to stay loyal to the outside lane here in front of that 60 of Brian Bizzle. And you see just 4 cars on the outside doing a great job of trying to side draft and try to hold on to the race. He gets a huge push down back straightaway. He's going to get easily clear. But now the 13 gets a huge push by.
Easy there, 62. Easy there. That bumper hook is very real here.
Yeah, I think he's actually kind of getting pushed over the 42. So a lot of craziness with there going to turn number 3. But every manages to gather it back up. It's across the straight. The 6 is going to lead another one here. Looking to try to get after that 50 laps led mark. As currently just side aside for that race lead, and the top 4 cars on the outside. You see the 48 kind of losing that draft a little bit behind those guys, which might affect the top 3 here.
This is the best I've seen the outside line perform the entire race so far. Jeffrey Merck has been able to stay up front on the outside line with only 3 cars behind him to help. That is very impressive.
And you see he's working that side draft, and he's not doing it that aggressively. Obviously, not early, not late enough in the race to do that. But you see, he's another one here. It's about number 50 for him, as he's just picking it up and putting them down pretty much at this point. But doing a nice job in the outside lane. It looks like he's going to try to stay up there as he keeps getting clear of the 13, but is deciding to stay up there with the 60 and the 41. So doing a great job leading the outside train around this track.
Yeah, well, and I believe that 60 and the 6 are teammates, so I'm thinking that's what they're doing. They're just working together up on that top line. If the 60 can clear to the 13, you can bet that they're both going to go down to the bottom line. As you see the 6 car there, get in front of the 13 to try to block him from getting ahead.
And this right here is not aggressive racing, but it's definitely kind of exciting to see that 62 go to the square right there in turn number 2. But then on the 0-2, Richard Reeves, remember, was supposed to front of this field for much of the first quarter of this race or so until that pit stop kind of messed him up, and I think he lost the track position because of it. But now he's back up here towards the front right there behind that 41 and wants to get up here and try to get after some spots.
Yeah, I think he liked being up front. He wants to go back. He did lead 15 laps earlier in the race, but as you said, that unfortunate caution kind of messed up his track position, but he's back in good shape now. Scored in 7th place right now. As the 60 car does come down, and they do clear to 13. That's exactly what they wanted to do. Now they can lead that bottom line train and set sail into the sunset.
And on the outside, just lost all the momentum they had right there as the 41, the 02, and the 48 kind of left up there by themselves. And 3 cars I don't believe is going to be enough, but I'm interested to see if the 77 can get up here as a lap for the number 88 Ally Chevy right there as he sorts out the racetrack with some damage. And they're going to go a lap down. It looks like he's actually already 1 lap down, so I believe now he's going to go 2 down.
Yeah, he scored as, I see 2 laps down.
As Joe Owen puts it behind the wall in that 3 car. Actually, he was on the lead lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there. We see this front of the pack kind of settling down into a single file train here. Looks like it's all the way back to about 13. With the 58 of Jason Hughes there kind of trailing that, and the 22, Vendra Cardinale, who had an earlier incident, is up in 14th and trying to catch up to this lead pack.
Yeah, he was in the pre-bound position for a while. Luckily, he had that caution come out, and he's going to get back on the lap. And you do see that corner panel damage, and while it's not, the corner panel damage itself isn't that bad as far as affecting his speed, but you see that spoiler kind of bent up right there in the back of that Ford. That's going to kind of act as a parachute in the wind pretty much and hurt and kind of drag that car back a little bit and hurt that straight line speed. But I'm not honestly sure if he decided to take optional repair or not. I do believe they probably could beat that a little bit and make it a little bit better for him. But I'm interested to see if he even really knows that there's that much damage on his corner panel or not. And again, it's really hard to tell being in the car. You can't, see damage around your car from a good perspective unless you get out and look at the replay. So
right, exactly. You just kind of have to trust everybody around you, which is kind of hard to do in some places.
And of course, leading that draft is probably what's really hurting the second pack, as you see some blocking going on actually out of him. So he tries to pass right there, but it's really just acting as a draft to win. If he gets behind somebody here and gets in the draft, he kind of has that pocket of air, and it's not going to really affect him that much. But being as the leader of this draft is just going to kind of going to cross behind him. That is the 51 gets right hooked there, and we got more cars pile in. The 00 comes in there. He gets a lot of damage to 73 as well. His engine is blown. It's Gene Rogers. I believe that he already has used a fast repair, if I'm not mistaken, and that's going to take him out of this race, unfortunately. Looks like Brandon Thornhill got a big piece of that. His little front end is ripped off of that Chevrolet.
And the poor 00 again at James Brown. Massive damage to that car. And the 73 as well. That is an unfortunate incident. And I'll be honest, that was one of those things that didn't need to happen. I think it was just a little bit of impatience getting into everybody. I can't tell if the 51 drifted up a little bit or the 9 drifted down a little bit or if it was a little bit of both. But that obviously, was guys racing for position, and it ended up badly for pretty much everybody around them.
Looking back at it here in the activity replay, looks like the 9 just came down the racetrack. The 51 kind of held his line next to the BO line. Didn't really come up at all, and the 9 just, I'm not sure if he misjudged it thinking he was clear or he was just trying to side draft and accidentally went down too far and caught him in the right rear. But as soon as they make that contact, they're just on for the ride. They're into the wall, whether they like it or not. And unfortunately, Daytona, the whole pack is going to get involved as well behind. And so the 30 actually took a pretty good lick there into the outside wall as well. His little front end got ripped off, the hood gone on that Ford.
Yeah, and the 68 of Brandon Thornhill is major damage, smoke all over the place, missing his front end. Yeah, it was. There's going to be some cars on pit road for a while, or they might be out of the race, depending if they use their fast repair yet or not.
Yeah, race officials trying to get those cars to the back of the field to avoid getting some people black flags. So, interested to see if some of those guys do a fast repair lap. I do not believe the 00 does, or excuse me, the 73, but I'm not honestly 100% sure. Looks like into his pit stall, the 0-0 of James Brown. Now he does not have a faster left as he's not used it. So let's see. Ended up having to tow there. Unfortunately, he's gonna. So Kevin Fetty now the 30 is put it behind the wall and
Yeah.
0-0.
0-0 is probably out of the race too because I don't see him fixing that car out. All right.
It's really unfortunate. Not even halfway in the race, and they're taken out already.
Well, we've had some requests to have an interview with the 62 car, so what do you say we bring him up here? He's off of pit road right now. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Hey, Les Levy, it's Keith and Lucas up in the booth. You got a copy?
Lucas, Keith, how are you?
We're
Good,
doing
yeah.
great. We've had you have some fans there in chat and requested us to talk to you. So what do you got to say to your fans?
Well, I'd say this number 62 Chevy Camaro ZL1, prepped for me by Crow's Nest Motorsports. It's running good, running with a couple of the Misfit guys in a cooperation here, and of course sponsored by the Ricky Bobby Foundation for People Challenged to Go Fast.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I am considered a professional backmarker. So tell us, how's your race going today?
Hope you guys don't jinx me, but it's been going pretty good. Been running up in the top most of the time. A few wrecks early on. We seem to get a nice little stint there of green. But right now, 13 and I are the only guys that stayed out, so we might be a little bit of a sitting duck, but we'll see how it plays out.
You think your older tires are going to make a big difference here? I know Daytona usually isn't a big tire wear track, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's not really a tire wear track where you can get nailed is sliding them into the pits when it gets slick and then coming out if you're coming out hot with slick rubber.
All right, so what's your plan here for this next run?
Oh man, I gotta run tight with my buddy up here in the 13, and then we gotta hope somebody wrecks behind us because we gotta get caught up on fuel.
All right, man. Well, good luck for the rest of the race. Hopefully, you see you up there at Victory Lane.
Yeah, 10-4, appreciate it. Good to hear from you, Lucas. Good to see you, bud.
Absolutely.
All right, that was the 62 car of Les Levy, currently in second place after a incident further back in the pack as him and the 13 decided to stay out this time around.
Yeah, you heard they're adding the fuel. We did have a pretty long stint there. I believe it was about 10-15 laps if I have to kind of guesstimate here. As it's going to be interesting to see if we do have the caution flag. Of course, because only can go about 40 to 50 laps or so on a tank of fuel. So looking at that, you only have about 30 laps or so left in their gas tank. So if the caution does not come out and go green the rest of the way, that's going to really hurt them. They're going to have to pit about 15 laps earlier than the rest of the guys, and that's going to cause them to lose the lead draft. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get that caution flag again. That will kind of save them. It's also interesting to see them kind of make that bold move this early in the race.
Yeah. Well, and we're not quite halfway yet. Playing some different strategy it could pay off for them in the end. You just never know how the cautions might fall and what might happen to this front pack. And now we're going to see Jeffrey Merck, who has pretty much been up front the entire time, how he can get through this traffic.
And the ideal part for the 62 to 13s is to actually not have a caution come out right after the restart. They really kind of want a solid run of about 10-15 laps, so that way they still have enough fuel to make it and build a pit under the caution. But if the caution comes out about 10-15 laps, then everybody's going to come down pit road, and they're going to keep their track position. So they don't want to have a green flag run. They don't really want to have a quick caution either, because then they'll have the pit and go towards the back again.
Right, exactly right. As the pace car lights are out, so we're going green next time by. Your top five now, Brandon Murray in the lead, who is on the inside. Les Levy in second. Jonathan Waller, pole sitter, back up in third. Jeffrey Merck in fourth, and Mitchell Reeves rounds out your top five. So a little change in the front order, but still all within that lead pack. As the guys in the chat are getting a little bit too demanding for my taste here, I gotta say, calm down, guys. So I really do appreciate everybody in chat. It kind of makes the race go a little bit more fun. I like chatting to these guys out there. Thank you guys all for watching here on MaxSpeedTV. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to keep up to date for our future broadcasts. And one quick shout out again to a Brucey Raceware as they are graciously providing some prizes today. for all your sim racing wear needs. Please visit them at bruzy.co.uk for all the details. As we get ready to go back to green here. Give a nice paint shout out to the number 50 car, Jeffrey Meyer. That is a slick looking machine there. Alright, as the pace car gets ready to get off the track and release the bulls one more time. As the green flag comes out, and Brandon Murray brings him to the green flag back at Daytona and gets a good jump. That inside line gets a very good jump.
Yeah, the outside, definitely can outside the St. Levy did not get going very well in the initial start, and that's going to stack up the whole outside lane. As now you see Bunch of Reeves make that move to the outside to try to get that run and gain some spots, but he doesn't have the push he quite needs from behind as they're still trying to get up to speed and try to catch back up. As so he was really hoping to try to work with his teammate there. He was just trying to come down across the nose of the 76, but he does not quite have the gap. Oh, anyways, crash.
Man, the commentator curse is real. It really is.
Oh, yeah,
it's the 62 and 76 cause a big wreck on the back stretch.
And that's just the 62, you know, had that bad restart, was trying to find a way in to the inside and not lose too many spots, and he just, you know, got a little bit aggressive, and that's the result of that, and a lot of the field got involved with that one. I just look here on the MaxSpeedTV replay. And 62 was hoping for a caution. I definitely don't think he really looking for that one.
Yeah, I really didn't want to be the caution.
Yeah.
Anybody who hopes for a caution usually ends up being it. That is so unfortunate. I'm sorry, guys out there in chat. I didn't mean it. I swear.
Back at the replay here, you see that he tried coming down off turn number 2 on the 76, it wasn't clear. Then he realized he was there, went back up the track, and then just kind of swerved back down the racetrack and tried getting into that spot anyway. I mean, I'm not quite sure if he thought the 76 let him go or what, but unfortunately they make the contact. The 62 sides up the racetrack into the 68 and the 44, and others pile in. And the 44 of Ray Richer, I remember he got taken out in one of those first crashes, so he does not. He's pretty much done for here. You see the 22 injured Carter now. He has a lot of damage. The 10 of Cody Tabor got a big piece of that. The 48 of Dustin Covington, he got all tore up on that as well.
Yeah, that took out a bunch of cars. You see Glenn Fetty, David Johnson, David Kane's all out of the race now. And you take a look at that wreck at the beginning and see just how close the 6 car came to having a disaster. He squeaked out of there by a paper's width, I think.
Actually, looking at it, he did get clipped a little bit, I believe. It looks like he has some, he has some left
he does have just a
damage.
tiny bit of damage. You're right there. It looked like he got away from there scot-free, but I don't think that little bit of damage is going to hurt him too much.
Yeah, no. Look at the spoiler. It's not pushed up really at all. If it is about a centimeter or so, that won't affect him in the slightest. It's probably only about 3 seconds, or if not less, of optional damage. But yeah, that's definitely a very close call for the 6 driver. As he always gets hit under caution.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
I think kind of going slow here. I'm not quite sure what exactly is the matter with him here. If he has some sort of issue or something.
Yeah, I'm not able to figure that one out. But well, I think I'm not going to interview anybody else for the rest of the day because I feel very bad for him.
I have that happen a lot for me, so I actually made a video once on my channel because of that.
Here's all the people who I wrecked just for interviewing them.
Pretty much, honestly. It's real for sure. It looks like right before that caution, as let's look at the end of the line penalty by race officials, but right before that caution, it looked like David Kane's ended up putting behind the wall.
Yep.
In that 51. Right. So that leaves just 22 cars now left on the lead lap. And then next closest guy is actually 2 laps down, that being Gene Rogers in the 73. He's coming 2 laps down along with Sean Rahodes, who pulled cars 2 laps down. Then looks like everybody else is actually out of the race. So 25 cars left in the race. The 00 still in pit road trying to get those repairs done after that heavy crash a couple of cautions ago. But it's going to be at least about a half an hour or so of required repairs. So he's obviously has no chance of really gaining any more spots unless he gets some more crashes. As some guys like Bobby Jonah's on pit road. We have Brandon Thornhill damaged in that crash as well on pit road. So he's still a couple cars on pit road, but 25 cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, a bunch of guys on pit road trying to either get damage fixtures, see if they can salvage anything out of this race tonight.
Yeah, there's actually 24 cars on the racetrack, not a mistake there, but 22 on the lead lap, 2 guys 2 laps down. Everybody else is either on pit road or behind the wall, so this is a couple of guys going to take the wave around now. Or did the wave around. No, I just trying to get their cars repaired, but Brandon Murray gets the race lead here. After that quick caution, going to keep him in the race lead. I'm kind of surprised he didn't hit that pit road there. They're talking about being short on fuel there. I guess he decided that he was going to keep the track position for now and try to hit onto that race lead as long as possible.
Yeah, that kind of throws. I'm kind of a little surprised he didn't take the advantage and go into pit road when he did, but maybe he's obviously going to try a different strategy here. If he goes too much longer, he's going to be caught out and then have all kinds of problems. As we get the 1 to green again here, get this restart going. We're going back to green on lap 96, just about halfway done with today's race.
Yeah, we crossed the line. We'll be 5 laps until that halfway point, so definitely pretty close to that, and already about an hour and 40 minutes or so into this race. So this goes to show how long this race is and how kind of an endurance race, honestly, it is. Obviously, being a cup race within 500, you don't ever consider it an endurance race, but usually on iRacing you don't see races over probably about 100 laps here or so. This looks like Cody Tabor unfortunately loses connection in that 10 car, so he's going to fall behind here and go a couple laps down because of that.
Oh, that's too bad. I mean, I get crashing out, but having an inner problem, man, that's just awful. That sucks.
He's actually about the 3rd or 4th guy who's dropped out in this race so far, so I guess it's kind of just the result of how many people are in here.
All right, you're up. Let's get these guys going.
13, Brandon Murray moving field to the green flag. It's the restart zone. He's on the gas and a jump there, but the 72 through the 42 of Nathan Jonathan Wall, all confused here, but Mitch Reeves right there behind the 13, and Brandon Murray with the 42 ducks in line behind him, and as you get up to about 4th gear here, and just up to 170 miles an hour, nowhere near the 200 plus we've seen so far in this race, but once you get into here about turn 3, then they should get up towards that mark, as currently the top 2 single file and has a bit of a gap on the pack. That much Reeves actually looks to the outside. Going to get a huge push there with 2 of Brian Tribble, and that was pretty much a perfect time move. The 2 had a huge run, and the 0-2 goes in front of him, but unfortunately for him, the run just kind of wasn't in the right place as it was going into the corner instead of coming out or down the straightaway, so that's going to kind of hurt him a little bit.
Is it just me, or is that 12 or that 40 car in 12th place on the lead lap trying to stay in this draft with no front end? That's kind of impressive that he's able to stay up there.
Yeah, he got caught up in those earlier crashes and had to use his fast repair. They got caught up in another one, and he has no front end right now. As you see, looks like he's going to get passed by a couple guys and follow the back of this draft. But yeah, that's about 190 miles an hour right now, almost 195 if he gets in the draft. So a great run for the 40 right there, trying everything he can to salvage a decent run, but it really struck out there for him.
Yeah, there he goes. James Brown is officially out of the race as he takes the car by him. Well, that's unfortunate.
So looks like he's going to pass that 40 of Garrett Pons, and now it looks like he's going to get knocked down to about 18th place. But behind him, the 44, Ray Rich, remember we saw him get taken out in that crash there and got a lot of heavy damage. His whole back end and front end is ripped off of that car, so he has no power, pace around the track about 175 miles an hour or so. Unfortunately, he is really taken out. Then didn't even notice this one, but Gary Whitmer also way out of the draft with a completely tore up race car. Remember, he took that fast repair a couple of cautions ago after surveying the damage lap before, and decided to take that fast repair. And now he's paying the price for it, and unfortunately, he's actually going to go a lap down now to the lead pack.
Yeah, that car has got all kinds of problems. There's no way he's able to stay with these guys, so he's just going to have to drive around the track and see where he can finish today.
And it was that risk versus reward. You take that fast repair and risk it caught another crash and not be able to have that backup, or do you, try to just the optional or required repairs and get back out there and not use the fast repair, but risk losing the draft and not be able to make that time back up, but towards the end of the race, like a lap or two. But I guess that's just choice he decided to make, and honestly, with how much damage he had, it was probably the better choice. But unfortunately for him, he just got caught up in that crash there, and that takes him out of this one.
Yeah, it looks like everybody realizes how fast the 6 car is, because they're all leaving him in the dust. Oh, and he does manage to slide down right behind the 50 there of Jeffrey Myers. He settles in 7th now.
Gets back in front of Mitchell Reeves, the guy who was drafted where the start of the race. So they're back now, hooked up single file behind the rest of the guys in front of them. But this time by, as we're on lap 100, we're going to complete this lap, and we're going to go exactly to the halfway point. So 50% of the race done, and 50% more to go here.
All right, halfway through. We got 100 laps to go, folks, so we've got plenty of racing left.
Hour and 45 minutes was in about across the line there so far in this race. So double that, or put it about a little over 3 hours. So it'll be interesting to see if we keep at that same pace with a couple cautions here and there. Still a long race ahead, absolutely, and that's what you see these guys single file and kind of calm right now. It looks like the 58, Jason Hughes, actually went out of the line right there, and it looked like, honestly, he's trying to drop the back of this pack. He kind of just drifted up high and didn't even try to get back in line at all. So Jason Hughes is going to go to the top side of the racetrack and pull out the lead pack. You see the 88 now go down.
It was a caution does come out. For I'm not sure exactly who. Trying to see if we can find out who brought the caution out this time. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Give another instance of somebody having some connection issues and crash coming out for them.
That could be, I'm not sure, but either way, the caution is out again for the 8th time today. So we'll see if anybody takes advantage and comes down pit road. As the pace car does start gathering up the field on the backstretch.
I think they're definitely going to probably see this 13th pit if the whole field here doesn't. And that was kind of the sin he actually needed, was that 10 to 15 lap run to be able to kind of force somebody down on the pit road to fill it full of fuel. But now he has that track position of being the race lead as far as if everybody pits here with him. So definitely it was a risky move, but it ended up paying off for him here.
Yep, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Looks like he won this time around. But we'll see how many people decide they want to come down pit road and get some gas and fuel. We know the 13 is more than likely going to come down pit road.
I think he's probably honestly forced to. I think we're going to ask for at least 10 laps or less on the second fuel, as you see now. drop down the apron. He's going to come in. It looks like he's going to try to bring everybody with him, but looks like the 60 there decided to stay out on the racetrack along with a few other takers.
Yeah, we do have several takers on pit road at this point, but some decided to stay out too, including the 6-car Jeffrey Merck too. So teammates staying out there.
Looks like this caution, the 05 of Gary Whitmer, is going to get his lap back. He's going to get back on the lap, but still, with all that damage, it's only a matter of time before he goes another lap down and falls behind with how tore up that Toyota Camry is. We are going to, however, take a quick step away here and be right back to the final half here from Daytona, so don't go away.
Want to treat yourself? Check out Expressions by Erica on Facebook.
Cups, hats, t-shirts,
heat transfer vinyl,
graphics, and much, much more. Treat yourself with a personalized monogram to go in your Yeti cooler or the back of your car.
Erica does it all.
Need something that says I love you for Valentine's Day, your anniversary, or even birthday? Erica has you covered with the best gift for all of those special occasions. Missy from Facebook says, they did an amazing job on what I ordered. They also did it very quickly, even though I had it shipped from South Carolina to Tennessee. I highly recommend them. Thank you, girls.
Also from Facebook, Casey says, great job. And they did it last minute for me since I completely forgot I needed it. Everyone loved it.
Contact Expressions by Erica by calling 843-810-3883 and like us on Facebook.
Expressions by Erica.
You can buy a used vehicle anywhere, but the only place to buy a used vehicle with complimentary lifetime oil changes and car washes and a low, upfront, plain and simple price is Fred Anderson Toyota. When you get a Fred Anderson Toyota pre-owned, you don't just get the car, you get value, protection, and peace of mind.
Shop over 1,000 quality used vehicles, plus hundreds of used Toyotas to choose starting under 10 grand with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
Take home a Fred Anderson Toyota pre-owned today.
Need to tell the world something? Need to get it out there? How about making your ride just a little more sharp? From t-shirts to vinyl graphics to banners, your one-stop shop is Rumar Vinyl Creation. Want to make that truck stand out? Or maybe a banner for your next business gathering? Rumar can do it all. They can even screen print on most anything. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, even that lucky pair of sweatpants you just can't throw out. Yep, they can do that too. For your next event, gathering, or race, your one call should be to Rumar Vinyl Creation. Find us on Facebook or just give us a call, 315-222-3423. Rumar Vinyl Creation. iRacing, the world's biggest premier in online sim racing, gives you, the driver, an experience of a lifetime in competing against some of the best drivers in the world. All drivers take their hand at each track and they want to look good while putting it up front. Wouldn't you like to do the same? Introducing iWrap, one of the leading online iRacing paint venues, offers you any custom paint that you desire. Show off your sponsors and style while running some of the greatest sim racers out there and look great while pounding the pavement or spinning in the dirt. Any color or any design, no request is too small. From sprint cars to cup cars, they cover anything you want. Want to show off that local venue? Or how about running one of your favorite real-world drivers' paint? iWraps does it all. Custom suits, helmets, cars, and logos. Just ask and they will make it look like $1,000,000 while you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. iWraps produce high-quality virtual paint designs for iRacing vehicles of all kinds. Search iWraps on Facebook and send a message today to make your iRacing experience more than just making laps in a pre-made paint scheme. iWraps, the top of the line in online racing paint wraps.
Yeah, welcome back to Daytona as we are just about ready to wrap up caution number 8. Quick shout out, this race today is brought to you by Abruzzi Racewear, Abruzzi Racing Style, and Top Shelf Auto Detailing. We're just ready to get back to green as Brian Bazell in the number 60 car is in the lead with Jeffrey Merkin second, Mitchell Reeves third, Dustin Covington fourth, Chris Scales rounds up your top 5 as the pace car is just about ready to get off the track and allow these guys to go back to green flag racing.
One of those top 2 are teammates. We might just see some strategy here on this restart. The other one in, and sure enough, there's a 60 on the gas. As this is going to try to get clear here, Mitchell Reeves, and pulling behind the 60 there, Brian Buzzle, as he gets a great jump on the field, and that's exactly what happens. The 6 gets in line, and now they try to pull up the rear bumper of his teammate there, the 60 of Brian Buzzle, as they head through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was a kind of a textbook teammate maneuver there as the 60 car gets out and allows the 6 to get down, and they can hook up and work together here for this next green flag run.
So you can follow all the way through this pack until you get back around, it's like about 18th spot here. So to the very, very end of the lead lap here, the tail end of the lead lap, and even still, that's that single filed out. So 44 damage right there. Looks like he has a front end back at least on that car, so that's nice. As he is just going to lose these spots here. The damage he has right Richard. Jump to the back now is the last car on the lead lap in 20th position, but you're going to see a lot of guys, all the guys with that this damaged race car is going to play out and affect how this all ends up when it's all said and done. And of course, they want to stay in this race, try to get as many spots as possible and get a solid finish out of it. And you never know; you could always have a crash in the last lap and you end up winning the race still. So you don't work till it's over.
Yeah, literally anybody who is still, basically undamaged on the lead lap has a chance to win this race because you just don't ever know what's going to happen up front. There could be a massive wreck with a lap to go and causes somebody maybe in 10th place to win the race. So you just never know.
Like up front here, Ryan Bisley just holding on to that race lead right now with his teammate Jeffrey Merck right there behind him. And then we're just past the halfway point here, but still 100 laps of Daytona. That's about 250 miles. And these guys just running single file, going to try to turn some laps, complete some, and just trying to get closer and closer towards the end of the race here. And when they really get kind of racy, so you see. Complete that 109 here, getting to lap 110.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much single file, kind of all the way back to 19th place of Gary Whitmer Jr. in the 05 car there. Although he is damaged and kind of losing the draft there.
And right on board here now with the 6th machine of Jeffrey Merck, as he's currently right there behind his teammate, the Brian Bizzle, and in second in line right now as you see these guys work their way around pretty soon. That lap car as Bucky Burt going to go 2 laps down now.
Yeah, he does the right thing. He just kind of gets out of the way and lets these guys go right by.
See Merck just kind of pushing us back straight away here, and as long as you hit him square, there's no harm, no foul on that one. But Obviously, if you get in the corner there, you know, poking him around, but nice and square push right there, Diamondback straight away, and kind of just, cruising, like I said earlier, just let this race kind of play out and pick off some laps. And you see he's trying to step on a line a little bit there to get some clean air on his nose to cool the engine off a bit, as that will heat up pretty fast. And when you up here and when you're up there in second place and your engine lets go, it's definitely not very pretty.
Oh, not at all, because that can only obviously ruin your own race, but you could collect a whole bunch of other guys behind you too, so you got to be careful with that. And sometimes you'll see them just kind of stick the car out just a little bit to one side or the other, kind of get some air into the intake there.
So most of the guys who started towards the front, all besides your race leader who stood back in 15th, but Jeffrey Merck, Richard Reed still up here and battling for finish. Jonathan Wall still inside of the top 10, currently in that 10th place actually. He was your pole setter. So, you know, a lot of the guys who were at the front of the race towards the start are still up here, and that kind of just shows that, you know, sometimes while the front can be the most aggressive place, it also can sometimes be the safest place as far as trying to avoid crashes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, you see a lot of people try to go to the back to avoid stuff, but it's generally in the back of the pack is where you have the most trouble. And, you know, we're seeing that basically everybody who's left on the track is single file in one form or another, either 2-car draft, 3-car draft, or this main pack that goes all the way back to 16.
Pretty Tabor losing connection there. He came back and then I guess decided he was just going to put it behind the wall and retire from the race after how much time he lost because of that unfortunate occurrence. But either way, 19 cars on that lead lap with Gary Rittmer Jr., that last car on the lead lap, about 15 seconds behind with all that damage. Just trying to hope for a caution here to stay in the lead lap, at least go a lap down, get that lap back. And 20th place, Gene Rogers is kind of like 2 laps down with Bucky Burt, so they're kind of battling for the free pass, even though they do get it. If the caution does come out here, they're not going to be able to get back immediately in the lead lap. But they have clean race cars and look like the 40 actually. Garrett Potts supposed to use a faster car right there. Remember, he had no front end earlier.
Yeah, his car is in much better shape than it was earlier.
I guess he was just saving that faster car, and so far it's paid off for him here. Remember, the 05 didn't, he decided to use that faster pair earlier, and it cost them. The 40 had no front end for the first half of the race, and now he's out here just trying to cruise and avoid getting torn up as he does not have that backup now. And with a clean race car, which is definitely very crucial here.
The magic of iRacing. They are losing a little bit of time to that lead draft, but they're still not in too much danger. If they can just stay together like that, they'll be able to keep up fairly well.
And Jeffrey Meyer right there behind him as well, trying to tag along and trying to help them pitch that lead pack a little bit more, or at least stay back here, far enough behind to avoid a crash if it were to take place, but not too far behind to absolutely miss out if we do go green here a long way, which I feel like we probably will after all those quick cautions that kind of happened with the 62 and that whole wreck that happened there, and the wreck we saw before that as well. Just a lot of those quick cautions that kind of rapid fire, then everybody kind of realizes that hey, it's a long race, 200 miles, no need to wreck out halfway, and then everybody kind of goes single file. What you see right now is they kind of just logging laps, trying to not necessarily have the most fun and try to win it here, whatever lap they're on, but basically just try to play it safe and turn those laps and be there at the end. So I feel like with this run, of course, the last time we had this, it got killed by doing the pit stops and the trouble that usually comes with that, but I feel like we're going to go green here a long way.
Yeah, and I think everybody's really just content on being where they're at. Don't want to challenge anybody too much unless they make a mistake, of course, and just kind of stay where you're at. And they're going to have to hit at least one more time. So get to that next green flag stop and see where they go from there. contact toward the back of the field. We got the 40 car, 88 and the 50 kind of get into each other there. Looks like there's some slow cars trying to be passed by some fast cars there. As Garrett Potts, after using that faster rear, gets into an incident with some lap down cars, he's very slow going down the backstretch. Oh, I see what happened. It looks like the 73 car gets loose, hits the wall, gets into basically all of those cars. They all kind of scatter around, kind of hit the outside wall, hit the inside wall a little bit, but the green flag does stay out. That is unfortunate. After having to use that fast spare, it gets into a kind of a lap car incident. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a great run going right there behind the lead pack, and as we mentioned, the front of the pack seems to be the safest place. Daryl on the back right there, and obviously trying to avoid some lap cars. But again, the guys who are at the tail end of the lead pack are the ones who ended up getting crashed here and have damage now. So obviously Garrett Collins using that fast right now. He's 20 seconds behind the field. It's still in front of the 05, so if the caution flag does come out here in a long while from now, he'll probably be the first car lap down at that point in time. But the damage doesn't look too severe on that 40, obviously. It's really unfortunate after just using a faster curve, but you've got a lot of right front damage and then some left rear damage, but I'd probably say about a minute of optional damage, and if you got into the draft behind somebody, you probably could be decently okay after repairing that car, but then again, you're going to have to try to hope for a quick caution here, as now the 05 has passed him actually, so only 27 seconds behind the lead pack, but that's going to drop quickly as he's way off the pace.
Yeah, and he's basically sitting up there all by himself. I mean, his front end looks okay, it doesn't look too damaged, it's the back end that's got some trouble. If he were actually be able to catch up to somebody, he could be alright, but that was an unfortunate incident for him, so we'll see if he's able to stay on that lead lap or if he's going to get eaten up by these leaders coming up here in just a little bit. As we see this 16 car, 15 car pack here, 16 car pack, they're just kind of staying in line, being patient, just trying to get through the rest of this race as we're coming up to lap 124. Oh, looks like a little checking up there, all kinds of
huge
damage.
stack up.
Big stack up there as we got several cars now, a little bit of front end damage there.
Yeah, first we got sandwiched. You see the 58, Jason Hughes, his front end and rear end all beat up, as the 13 has the exact same kind of similar damages. That's nothing that we want to see in a single file train. Everybody knows the tail, and check some of the brakes, everybody gets all stacked up right there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that kind of messed up that whole lead pack as the 2-car Brian Tribble. I'm not sure if he just kind of got a little wiggly there, but that caused everybody behind him to check up, and they're kind of starting to fall behind a little bit now.
Looks like actually everybody in front of him kind of checked up. I think it was just kind of everybody getting a run on each other, and then everybody kind of hitting the brakes at the same time to try to avoid one another. And it was kind of just a chain reaction of a checkup right there, and that got everybody all out of shape. So damage to a lot of those cars, but luckily most of them are still together. The 58 really lost that entire pack now. He's pretty much going to be by himself.
Yeah, he's got significant damage to that car, and he lost that draft. So unless there's a caution out, he's got some trouble. Yeah,
then the 2 Frank Gribble leading that pack of 4 right in front of him there, but about 8 tenths, 9 tenths of a second behind that lead pack. So and with that damage, I'm wondering if they're able to catch the lead pack. The 2 does not have any front end damage, the cars behind them do. So I'm not quite sure.
Looks like they're making their way back up now. They're still turning, 204 miles an hour coming out of the back and front stretch there. So I think they will catch up to the lead pack again. But yeah, that was kind of an odd situation there where somebody checked up and you're so close to the other guy behind you, you're just going to hit him. You have no time to react to anything.
And so other guys check up and actually avoid the guys in front of them, but then they just pretty much got rear-ended from behind and pushed into the guy in front of them. So nothing they can really do there at all, and it's kind of unfortunate. But luckily, most of them are able to recover. Of course, the 58 really the one who got the worst out of that. But
and just seeing that, unfortunately, the 73 car of Gene Rogers has put his car behind the wall. That's too bad. After that kind of bizarre incident involving some lap cars.
And the 44 Ray Richer decided to park it on pit road and get some repairs. I'm not sure if his engine let go on that Chevrolet or if he decided he wanted to get some repairs done on that car. But he was trying to stay as on the lap as best as possible and kind of just working around there with a lot of damage. But I guess now he's decided to try to get repaired. So Garrett Potts now goes one lap down after also that incident was when he threw it in the lap cars. So Garrett Potts now the first car one lap down, the only car one lap down. He doesn't have anybody contend with that for the moment. But Gary Whitmer and Jeffrey Price about 40 seconds behind this lead pack. You might just see them, get caught as they're currently coming out of turn number 2 and the lead's going into turn number 1. So about 5 to 10 laps, they're probably going to get caught here and go a lap down, which will then put the 58 on a free pass position.
Yeah, you always got to keep yourself alert at all times. So you just never know what's going to sneak up on you. As that little chain reaction there we showed you. It looks like Jeffrey Merckx may be trying to peek around to see if either he can get around him or he's just trying to cool his engine off a little bit.
And going along with the package, obviously all the truck Xfinity and Cup are all different kind of packages, but I've noticed the Xfinity car is the worst in dirty area. It really heats up really fast. About a lap being behind somebody, it'll heat up. But then the truck, you feel about 15 laps right behind somebody before it really starts getting hot. And these Cup cars kind of right directly in the middle, about 5 to 10 laps. You see a lot of lap traffic. These guys go work through them.
Yeah, there is a lot of damaged race car out there. There's that number 50 car who's kind of caught up in that weird lap down incident. The 88 and the 25 there, the number 4. And this lead pack is trying to thread through them, but they're kind of almost blocking the road.
Contact. There. That was between the 77 and the 42. The 25 gets the back. 26 gets the back to the 25 as well, and it's just this huge pack trying to work their way around. So the 77 is going to get shafted here really hard as he's kind of stuck behind the 25 and going to get passed by pretty much everybody in the pack with him. So he loses a lot of the time here in a lot of positions.
Yeah, and it's like the lap cars there were trying. They're obviously racing for position as well, but yeah, that kind of created all kinds of messes there. Is also the 62 back there is of Les Levy kind of got caught in that path of the lap cars, but everybody does get through it with relatively unscathed, I should say.
And yeah, it was kind of just the 50 went to the top side of the racetrack to try and get out of the way, but then the guys he was in a pack with decided to go to the low side. They got a split.
Pit stop zone. We got all kinds of problems on pit road.
22, and you've heard now to the inside wall. We got 3 cars. John Doe at 76.
76 gets plowed by the 41 of Gabriel Wood.
22 pulling a Kyle Busch coming out.
Going down
backwards there.
What a mess. And the green flag does stay out. Jeffrey Merck, who is basically the dominant car the entire race, got into that unfortunate pit road incident there. And pit road coming down from 200 miles an hour plus to 60 is really hard to do, as you can see there.
Yeah,
the car locks it down hard.
You see just everybody trying to come in, and 76 came in a little bit too hot, and he was trying to lock it down and save it, and it was pretty much spinning out as he unfortunately hit the 6, and hitting him then caused him to spin on the pit road, and then pretty much just a traffic jam for everybody behind. Luckily for the 6, he was able to pretty much get going and get out of his way to avoid getting crashed by anybody else, but I do believe he's probably going to get a black flag for that. I'm not sure if race officials are going to
the 22 car was removed from the server for that backwards driving incident, but Ronald Klein having serious damage on his car after being hit hard by the 41 of Gabriel Wood, who basically ended his race right there.
And looking back here as well, you see underpaired actually was kind of caused the 22 a little bit. Car now just barely touched the 76. The 76 kind of chopped him coming onto the pit road right there.
Yep.
So the 22 kind of had to slam on the brakes, and he just got in the back of the 76, which then sent the 76 forward a little bit, but it was such slight contact. I don't really think it affected the 76 that much, but then he was trying to lock it down and spun into the inside wall. The 76 then tried to lock it down and hit the 6 and cause all kinds of problems. But
yeah,
I can't really honestly blame that much of any driver. It's mostly just that's just pit road here at the plate tracks. It's so tough to get onto.
Yeah, they came down and they were coming down way too fast. You know, and of course they couldn't get slowed down in time, and that caused all kinds of trouble. But it doesn't appear as, I mean, the 6 and the 76 lost a lot of time, but they seem to be doing okay. Now they just have to wait for the rest of the field to cycle through their pit stops and see how far back they are. As we got kind of this big gaggle of cars here now, and the front pack led by the 8 car. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's hard. I'm not quite sure who's the lead and who's on the lead lap, because I'm seeing the 8 car scored as the leader, and Judd Danielson in second.
Yeah, he is. I think he's in the lead because the 60 and everybody else behind is about a lap down right there in that pack. But talking about the 6 there of Jeffrey Merck, the worst part of that all is that he lost the draft of everybody. Now he has the 58 of Jason Hughes, but he has damage. So this really is going to hurt the 6 car here. I do not believe, unless we get a caution flag, he's going to make back up from this. Cause
yeah, that's
how
for
bad
sure.
it hurt
As
him.
you see, the 8 car does come down to get his pit stop.
And looks like he also decided to use a faster pair there as well, even though he didn't have that much damage. But again, it's just that case of you can't see how much damage was. Of course, he got hit pretty hard there coming on the pit road. He finally files all tore to pieces. So he used that fast pair, and while he's by himself right now, which is good because that means he's not going to finally get crashed. But he does not have that backup for the rest of the race here, as currently he's trying to cycle through here on the pit stop cycle. As we mentioned there, the 8 of Chris Scales coming out on the pit road there to get his service done. As he actually has in front of damage. He's going to come off the pit road now, and he's done in the way.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Judd Danielson is scored as the leader. He is still off, or he is still out on the track with the 2 car Brian Tribble in second, and the 70 car is scored in his third, but he is a few seconds behind that lead pack of cars, which is being led by the 42 Jonathan Wall, but he is scored in 6th place.
And this is pretty much just River Pit Stops at its finest. Always very tough to get onto, and then everybody with different strategies, everybody's coming in at different times because of how they pitted under the cautions before. You see the whole field get separated here. And while it shows only 6 cars do that, because the guys still, like the 85 and 2 have yet to come down to earth, and they're actually not going to come down this time yet. But, you can see this really how spread out this field is. As the the 42, I believe, is the first car out of the guys who came down pit road, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's actually scored as the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah. You see the 4 going on a lap down right there. So we have 42 will take the lead after this. Which Reeves will probably be in second. He's going to be pushed by. Will be in third. That's the 48. As we have about, I would say, about 4 cars who will be battling for the race lead after these leaders pit.
Yeah, and I really think that Judd Danielson is trying to stay out as long as he possibly can. Hopefully get that caution, which will make his life way nicer.
That, and I actually kind of question here if he can try to make it on this one pit stop. Remember, I believe these guys go about 40 laps or so. I believe the caution last came out around a lap 100, around the halfway point, from the top of my head. I couldn't look at the laps here and figure that out specifically, but if we can go about 40 laps here or so, we're almost up to 60 to go this time by. So obviously he's not going to make it, as I do the math correctly in my head this time, but...
And of course, the other thing we have to take into consideration is that the track lights are going to start coming on here real soon as we transition in finishing this race at dark, which is going to change the track conditions quite significantly.
So the last caution came out on lap 103, and Danielson, that's when he last pit. So he went green on 106, so we're going to take it from that. And he's got about 34 laps so far in this thing, and he's still on the track, but everybody else has pitted already. So I'm curious to see, he's planning to stretch it all the way at this point and hope for a caution, and then we can try to figure out exactly how far these guys can go on fuel. But we'll see 2 laps to go. Obviously, I think everybody's going to have to pit twice. Their second pit stop, they're going to be able to take less fuel, which is definitely going to help them gain time if they don't take any tires. But see the sun right there blinding these guys in turn number 4, just over the wall. Going to stay on a lead on a lap here, so 60 laps to go now from Daytona. Still a long ways to go of racing. The whole field now spread out after that first run of racing pit stops, and some guys still get to the end of the road.
Yeah, now it's just a question of when is Judd Danielson going to come into the pits. And when he does, that's going to change the lead quite significantly.
As 85 and Joe Danielson are going to head down pit road now and make that pit stop, and the 2 of Brian Tribble decided to actually stay on the racetrack and now to go the race lead. So 85 Judd Danielson staying out that long now is going to cost him, as he does not have a person to pit with him here and a drafting partner. And it looks like he's going to come down on a pit road to change his right side tires. Loads of the car full of fuel. Will he change left sides is the question. And it looks like no, he's going to take 2 tires only, so good call there.
Oh, very slow car there on the backstretch. Looks like it's the 4 car of Bobby Jonas. He is only doing about 50 miles an hour going down the road there. I'm not sure what's happening there. Yeah, possibly he ran out of fuel, because I don't see that the engine is running there on that 4 car. Let's hope he can actually make it to pit road, because if he doesn't, that'll definitely bring out a caution and just mess his whole field up.
And it's currently on the apron, so I don't think the caution will come out. It looks like it's going about 40 miles an hour, so it's going to be a long wait to get to pit road, but I do believe he's going to be able to make it as long as he keeps the clutch in and it keeps it in neutral. As you see, it gets even low on the racetrack and out of harm's way, so it looks like he should make it, but it's going to take a long time. It's currently 15 laps down. It doesn't have anybody behind him that's going to take position away from him as the next car is out of the race, so no worries as far as that goes.
Yeah, it does look like that 4 car will make it on the pit road, so that'll keep the race at green, as we still show the 2 car of Brian Tribble in the lead, but I don't believe he's made his pit stop yet. That puts Jason Hughes in the 58 car up to 2nd.
It's like the 6th of the 58 now is under the road, but the 6th, now he's with the 62 of Les Levy, so that's definitely good for him. He's got a 58 and has to make a pit stop, so the 6th is going to keep on to somebody for being the driver for Merck with Les Levy right there. But still unfortunate that, you know, he came in towards he came in 2nd place actually. Luckily Bobby Jonas actually put it behind the wall right there. But he came into the pit 2nd place, and it looks like now he's going to try to cycle around to around 8th place as he passed the 85 now of Judd Danielson, who's actually without a drafting partner. As I mentioned, that would probably be the case. So unfortunate for him. It's like Jeffrey Meyer might pick him up there, but. The 2 of Brian Tribble's on pit road. They get his pit stop now, because he's actually done away with his service, and he's going to come off of pit lane. And the 58 is going to come out right there in front of him. So now that puts the actual leaders in the battle for the race leaders. The 48 is going to lead that lap side by side with the 02 Butcher Reeves. So, like I mentioned, we have about 5-car pack in a battle for the race lead, looks like.
Yeah, Ronald Klein 76 is scored a lap down in 12.
The 4-car, yeah.
But yeah, the 2-car and the 58 are trying to get back up to speed here, but I think they're gonna get eaten alive there by that pack. That was close.
Well,
they were coming fast.
Oh, it's back to the wall. He hangs onto it.
He saves it, but his car is heavily damaged. You can see the smoke pouring out of that car.
Ryan Tribble just made his pit stop there, and actually, I do believe he came out on pace for those guys. I think he was still holding on to the race lead and just got past for it. And that's definitely going to end his chances here, though. I do think he does have a fast car. I don't remember him getting caught in another crash, but
yeah, we'll see if he's got one. But man,
at the replay,
58 just came right up to him, and he was on the apron, and he just had no choice.
Yeah, they were trying to get out of harm's way there, with that 3-4 wide trying to avoid, and then the 58 just down there on the flat part of the racetrack, and just all of a sudden, you feel like being on the banking, you just steer all, whatever, you have all the grip in the world, but as soon as you go down that flat part and there's no banking, you try to turn the corner, the car just goes straight, and unfortunately the 2 had a really hard lick right there into the outside wall, and then, of course, the smoke pouring his engine. Luckily, at least for him, it happened in turns 3 and 4 compared to turns 1 and 2, but not luckily for him. It looks like he does not have a fast car, as he's not yet to use it. So
he is not moving, so that car has got major damage, so he's going to be there for a while.
As the 58, J.C. Hughes puts it behind the wall. Looks like also Melissa Koska. I'm not sure. I believe that actually might be a spotter, yeah.
Alright, so currently we're showing 9 cars on the lead lap. Judd Danielson on the 85 is the last car on the lead lap, and he's about to get caught by this 4-car pack here for the lead.
Yeah, that's the result of him staying out that long and trying to hope for a caution and not going to pit with the drafting partner, and he lost a lot of time now. We're going to try to say
we got some 3-wide action going on here now.
And the 48 does have help with the 60s. It's possible to go through one on the outside. It's not really likely, and you don't see it very often, as the outside is just so much slower compared to the bottom 2 lanes because of the fact that you're so close next to the wall. As the 48 tries to, the 42, Jonathan Hall tries to throw a block on him right there, but he's not able to do so. As it looks like the 48 is not going to get that run, and not going to try to challenge the race. Mitchell Reeves now puts himself in the race lead, and on top of that, now he has 2 lap cars behind him, so that's definitely a huge advantage to that 02, as he has that buffer, but the 85 of Judd is not going to try to take it. He's trying to pass him here, almost makes some contact, and just the 42 with a huge run to the outside.
These guys are getting a little squirrely out there now, so they got to watch themselves, as there's still 50 laps to go in this race, so they got to be careful. So Judd Danielson is scored as the first car a lap down, so if a caution does come out, he'll be able to get his lap back.
And so 8 cars now on the lead lap. However, Jeffrey Merck, after that crash run occurred, along with Les Levy, is actually already a lap down. So Jeffrey Merck, the last car on the lead lap, you see him right there ahead of these leaders. After that, it goes to show how quickly you can have a great race turn into a bad race. But he's going to get a lap down here pretty soon. And then 8 of Chris Scales and Josh Sleater are drafting together, but 34 seconds behind their leaders. Then Mike Donahue with the lap car of Brandon Murray in 11th place, carrying 1 lap down. They're tandem drafting as well behind leaders, about 17.5 seconds. So, again, only 4 cars vying for the race lead, but with 2 lap cars in the mix, and it might just become 4 for this. The 6 and the 62 joining the party, but currently single file for that battle as 48 looks to try to make a run, however, and that the 02 just loving this right now as he has those 2 lap cars, the 50 and the 85 right there in between him in second place of Dustin Covington. So he has that buffer, and those guys aren't going to try to make anything aggressive moves and try to pass him unless they just do it for the fun of it, or try to get their laps back on pace, because there's no point of it. So
yeah, that 6 car is latching now back onto this lead pack, so he'll be in prime position to get his lap back as long as he can get around the 85 of Judd Danielson, who is actually ahead of him on the track right now.
I thought some smoke. That's actually out of the 8 machine here.
Yeah, and he is on pit road now. I think he just took a tow.
Oh, he actually blew up on the track right there. Oh, there's a right car in front of them.
That was hazardous.
68 if Brandon Thornhill spun around in turn number 3, hit the outside wall, and then came back up on the racetrack right in front of the traffic, and he got clobbered by the 77. And then as the 77 hit him,
which is amazing, the caution didn't come out for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then I guess the 8. I'm not sure, but his engine just let go, so I'm not sure if he accidentally shifted into the wrong gear trying to get back going again or what, but so he blew up. Now he's out of the race. Or, yeah, he's out of the race. He's not fast for left. So that now knocks down just the 6 guys, make that 5 guys. It's the 77 now goes a lap down. Looks like his car is clean, so maybe just a netcode hit, but 5 cars now on the lap and only 4 battling for the race lead.
And, you know, what the best thing that Judd Danielson can ask for is a caution, because that'll get him back on the lead lap and he can challenge for the win, because right now there's only 5 cars on the lead lap, so getting back on the lead lap gives you a very good shot at winning this race now.
Absolutely, and then coming into play also is the fact that, you know, he's going to go about 35 to 40 laps on the tank of gas, so Takasha right around now with about 35 laps to go. I'm at that 45 laps actually, so we got about 10 laps or so. If the caution flag does come out, then it's going to kind of come down to fuel mileage and who can make it and who cannot. So
they're almost within their fuel window. A couple of more laps and they'll be right on the outside edge of that fuel window. So you might see some short hitters here come in to try and see if that'll help them out a little bit.
Yeah, remember some guys like the 85 stayed out really long under that run. So when these speeders all pit, not only is he going to lose his drafting partners, I believe, but he's also going to get his lap back. So if the caution flag does come out, he'll be back on the lap, and then whoever is behind him, for instance, like the 6th car of Jeffrey Merck, could get his lap back with a free pass. But so we're going down to, you know, it's very interesting to see if we do get a caution flag, because obviously there's still a lot of cars out on track, but a lot of them not in the lap, not really battling for positions. And nobody's going to be super aggressive at the moment, but you know, you never know. We saw that 68 had these issues that surprisingly didn't bring the caution flag out, but we could see something like that again happen and end up burn out the yellow.
It's going to be really interesting to see how these last green flag pit stops play out, because that again is going to kind of jumble up the field a little bit here.
Currently a 7:17 in-game time here, so it's gonna transition to night here pretty soon. The sunsets around 8 p.m. So the lights will probably come on here in the final 30 laps, I would say, or so, and gonna set us up for a little bit of night plate racing for the final stint and final sprint to the finish.
As we kind of just keep on this lead pack here, it's they're just kind of riding around now, waiting to see when they're going to make that last pit stop.
Looks like Brian Thornhill has also put it behind the wall, along with...
Yep, he sure did. That's too bad, too.
Sean Rose in the 88 has also done the same thing. So, looking at it here, we only have... looks like if you don't count the 2s going on pit road damage to try to get his repairs done, only 16 cars on track. 16th place being Garrett Potts after having a pretty rough night here. Currently 10 laps down in that 16th place. And we have Looks like about 7 cars, 1 lap down from 6th to 11th place. The 25 goes another lap down right there. But it's going to show you the pit stops how spread out this field gets when it comes down to that.
As we kind of see the field kind of spreading out just a little bit here, it's you know, they got a couple of cars here, a couple of cars there, so we're going to see how this ends up playing out. As you know, we might see some pit stops coming up here shortly, as we're about 41 laps to go as they come to the line.
Yeah, when you get the field spread out this much, obviously not in a tight pack, so it's not very likely that the caution flag will come out here. I honestly feel like it will go green the rest of the way. I would not surprise me in the least, but then again, it doesn't. Pretty much. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to cause a caution, that's for sure. Also, you've seen simple spins and crashes that causes the caution, like the guy who spun on the pit road there and moved through the grass. So it doesn't take much to cause a caution, and you know, you might just see one by one of these lap cars. But how spread this field is, obviously, the likelihood of that is very slim compared to what we saw before.
Yeah, I really kind of honestly think that they this lead pack of 4 or 5 want to kind of settle it between themselves. So you might actually see some strategy play out where they might work together and pit together and then come out as a pack. But I've been wrong before.
And remember, like I mentioned earlier, the 85 of Danielson currently a lap down, along with the 50 right there behind Jeffrey Meyer, but he stayed out really long under that last stint, which is actually what kind of cost him that time. So as he's, you know, currently in that second spot in line, with everybody else around him in that pack, we're going to have to pit here pretty shortly, actually, to make the room for pit stops or scheduled stops. Then he's pretty much left without a drafting partner. So he's currently in a free pass position, but he might just get passed up by somebody like Jeffrey Meyer or like somebody like the 6th of Jeffrey March. So definitely interested to see how that plays out. Especially Jeffrey actually has lost all drafting help. I guess he lost that pass.
He is all by himself, and he is the second car a lap down. So he's got some trouble. Unless he can pick somebody up, I'm pretty sure his chances of winning this race are over, which is too bad, because he was pretty much the dominant car for the first half of this race.
Yeah, he kind of has my luck at play tracks through the first half of the race, and then kind of just shuffled out, and then just have bad luck repeatedly and fall way behind. But you know, if we do see the caution flag come out, you know, the saying cautions breed cautions would probably come into play, and wouldn't that surprise me in the least. And if the field all bunched up together again and try to get racy, you know, then the 6th would actually be the first car on the lead lap as it stands right now. And then if you get another caution, you get back on the lead lap. So it's not entirely a possibility, but obviously if we do stay like this, green flag the rest of the way, he has absolutely no chance of trying to get back at it and have a shot at the race win here. And is Mike Donahue currently in 5th place there in that number 70 Miller High Life Chevy. With a bunch of cars, he's not really losing that much time to leaders, but 28 seconds behind the race leader Mitchell Reeves, and 28 seconds does not really make it. It's not really possible to make that up easily without having something go your way, like the leader's wreck on a pair or something like that. But
he's got a couple of drafting partners, but that's not going to be enough. All right, out there in chat, Bill, who do you got to win this race? I want to see it. And we already got somebody saying the 02 car Mitchell Reeves is going to win this thing. So, all right, there's our first prediction.
And definitely pretty easy one to make. Currently on the race lead with those lap cars behind as a buffer, but you know, it's 4 cars in this pack. We got a pole sitter up here. We got a lot of guys who've been in the front all race long, so it's going to be pretty exciting for sure. But I think what's going to really come down to is this pit stop right here. It's really going to show who's able to have a good pit stop here, and then who comes out together. And if anybody makes a mistake, this is a money stop. If you make a mistake in this pit stop, you're probably not going to have a chance to make it back up. Let's just see the caution flag fly. So
exactly right. Yeah, this is a big pit stop coming up here very soon, as we're about 36 laps to the finish here.
And all it takes is to come down pit road a little bit too slow. You lose a couple spots, you lose a lot of time, and then you come off pit road and you lose the draft. Or you do the opposite and you speed coming out on pit road and you get that 15 to 30 second black flag penalty. It's going to absolutely knock you out of this one. So absolutely these guys are going to feel the pressure here coming on the pit road. It's super hard to do, but with how important it is as determining who's going to win this race, it's going to really just show he's able to handle well under pressure. And if someone makes a mistake, they're pretty much can get themselves out of it. So it definitely all comes down to this pit stop here coming up. And then I do feel like at least a guy or two are going to get separated, and it's only going to come down to about 2 or 3 cars battling for it. But we'll just have to wait and see. I do not believe anybody in this lead pack are teammates, so they can't really work together that well as compared to what we've seen in previous pit stops.
No, it's definitely going to be every car for themselves here. And then when you're on pit road, what do you do? Fuel only, 2 tires and some gas? What do you do? Seriously, it's there's all kinds of strategies that are going to be playing out here in just a few laps, unless of course caution comes out. But you can kind of see that the pack here is getting a little racier, as I think they really want to get around these lap cars to kind of get in contact with that leader. But as you can see, those lap cars are saying, nuh-uh.
Yeah, they want to go and try to get the lap back as well, so they go 3 right now for it on the track instead of players got a lap car on their way.
Look out,
to back out of that.
Now the 50 car, he is 2 laps down, so he's being a little bit overly aggressive for somebody who's more than 1 lap down.
Yeah, I think on this point he's just trying to get his lap back so he can go 1 lap down and then kind of just play it out through all the cautions. This is the 42. Oh, he's out of gas, I think.
Oh, yeah!
Inside, he's out of gas.
There. Yeah, he is definitely slowing down.
The 60 machine going to feel the worst of that, along with the 48. So now the gap from Mitchell Reeves goes even bigger as the 42 makes his way down the pit road, but he's not going to really go full of speed as you see his car sputtering right now. So he's going to lose a lot of time. I do believe it's going to pretty much cost him any chance of this one. But now, because of that, Mitchell Reeves has a huge lead over second place. As I think Mitchell Reeves pretty much has this one locked down as long as he doesn't make a mistake on his pit stop. 1.3 seconds is the gap.
Yeah,
as the 60 and the 28 are
60 car did sustain some damage there getting into the back of that 42 when he ran out of gas. The 48 and the 60 are together, but they are 2.2 seconds back. As Mitch Reeves is now really in the driver's seat, pun intended.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought the 60 was going to try to head down pit road right there because of how much time he lost. But he decided to stay out on the track and drive for the 48. So the gap now is 2.5 seconds between first and second place. So it just continues to fall off the pace, and that's very unfortunate. The 42 trying to make it as far as possible because he knew that he needed to do that if he wanted to try to pit with somebody and not lose the draft. That's how crucial that was. And unfortunately, he just ran out too shy and it cost the guys behind him. So now Mitchell Reeves in the catbird seat pretty much at this point, just trying to not make a mistake, and he's going to kind of get rid of it right here. Going to slow it down to 60 miles an hour. He does it nice and easy, so I don't believe he got speeding penalty there at all. It's the 48 and 60 continue to stay out here. But now, remember we saw these guys take right side tires. Most of these guys take right side tires last pit stop, so we might just see them take 2 tires on left sides or no tires at all. It looks like left side tires for Mitchell Reeves. But at the same token, these guys do not have to take a full tank of fuel. These guys
they do not
have about 4 laps in the bank. At least Mitchell Reeves currently has 4 laps in the bank. So you can take a little bit less fuel and get away with it. And at that point in time, is it worth it to take 2 tires? But at the same time, can you make it with just on his old tires? It looks like now the 48 and the 60 guy go down the pit road as well.
See the 60 car trying to pass him there. He's gonna. Oh man, that was close. I think he got down in time.
I think he made it in time. He actually kind of sped up after he made it down the pit road about to 62. So 2 miles an hour over should not give him a penalty. We're going to see here as he goes into the pit box. No mistakes for both of them going into their boxes either. As looks like right side tires for both of them. And I think there's just enough fuel. Actually, 4 tires for both of them.
Yeah, interesting call taking 4 tires. Did they really? That's going to cost them a little bit of time on pit road.
And I think Mitchell Reeves taking 2 tires was not a terrible call because I think it was almost a full tank of fuel, so I don't think it really hurt him that much. However, he's actually without a drafty partner, which is going to really come into play now for the 48 and the 60 who are together.
Yeah, and right now the 70 car of Mike Donahue is scored the leader, but I do believe he still needs to make his pit stop.
Mike Donahue, he's going to have a pit road, but you see actually the two guys did come up ahead of him, being a little bit more aggressive going on to pit road because of the fact that you need to make a better time. So they currently have to believe Mitch Reed's going to pass him here because he has the momentum. But those two guys working together in the draft, it's not over for Mitch Reed. He still has to fight these guys.
Yeah, and the best thing he can do is get in front of him, get right down, and get in the draft and get off into the sunset. As you see, Judd Danielson now scored in 3rd place on the outside there with that 50 car in tow.
And I see the 85 and the 50, those guys, remember, still staying out on the racetrack working together. So Joe Danielson now is scored in 2nd place, but of course him and Mike Donahue is currently in the race lead and have to make their way down the pit road. But if we saw the caution flag come out right about now, they would be able to get on the same sequence, and with only 6 cars on the lap currently, they would, be 5th and 6th place. So it would definitely not hurt too bad for them, and it would pretty much give them a second chance here at the race win. But then again, with how the spread of this field is, even though we have the 02 trying to block the 60s and the rest of this side of the leaders here.
Watch out for that yellow line, boys. And the big loser in that round of pit stops is definitely the 42 of Jonathan Wall as he runs out of gas coming onto pit road, and you can see he's about 17 seconds behind that main pack.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, and I thought for sure after that happened, with how much time the 60 to 48 lost and the damage they got on their cars, that they were out of it. I thought for sure that O2 had everything locked up, but now they were able to make it on a pit road a little bit more aggressive. The O2 lost a drafty partner, and that let them pitch back on. Now actually race the O2 of Mitch Reed what will be the race lead once the top 2 make their pit stops here. So coming up to 25 laps to go here in just a couple of laps. It's definitely interesting to see who's able to stay in the draft here and who's able to set up a run on the other. As just 3 cars, that pretty much just leaves one guy to make a move, the other guy to follow. So those 2 right now kind of in the...
Yeah, now that 50 car has something to race for. He has scored 1 lap down, and he is the first car a lap down. So if something were to happen now, he'd be in perfect position to get his lap back and try to get this win.
I actually wonder if the 50 did actually already make its pit stop here.
Not sure.
Try to look back here in the laps. And it looks like, no, he has not made his pit stop yet. But,
all right, so he's still got his to go. Let's see how long he can stay out there. Maybe he's going to try and hope for a caution and wait as long as possible.
And then, that's right. The reason he's currently 1 lap down is because of the fact that the 7085 are still on the racetrack. So
right.
That's why I was kind of thrown off there because I find he just kind of in that spot. But yeah, I mean, these guys pretty much just hoping for a caution. That's exactly what they need right now is that caution. For the 85 to get back on the same sequence and be right behind the leaders, and for the 50 to get back on lead lap and also be right behind the leaders. So, versus a desperate cry of a caution, and they don't have much time left as the fuel continues to wind down in both those Chevrolet Camaro 01s. But, I mean, it was, this is virtually the only pack of not damaged cars that are actually able to go fast in front of the race.
Yeah, it's definitely, this race has definitely wreaked havoc on many a machine out there as you see them pass the 25 car of Bucky Bird, who is now, I believe, 10 laps down.
It just goes to show, keeping your car clean in that first, 3/4 of the race really pays off for you as you go into this run. Everybody who's damaged is now on the green flag run paying the price for it and losing all of their time that they had in all these spots and now going laps and laps down. So. It just goes to show how crucial that is Jonathan Wall actually continues to fall even further back as he is by himself here.
Yeah, he's going to get swallowed up by these leaders probably within the next lap. He scored 40.8 seconds back, of Mike Donahue, I should say. He's 41 seconds behind the race leader right now, so. But I don't believe the 70 car has made his pit stop yet, so he still probably need to come down pit road here soon.
And the same Mike Donahue, it looks like somebody else is on pit road there. That's the 2 after the unfortunate crash there with the it was the 68 Thornhill, but he's going to make his pit stop currently 28 laps down, scored in 17th position. But yeah, it's still Mike Donahue out front. Pretty much just praying for a caution at this point in time. Hold on to the race lead, get some laps late at least. But Judd Danielson right in front of who will be the leader. He continues to stay out here as well. But you know, they stayed out this long under the first stint, so this is pretty much just their sequence after they decided to go that far. And Jeffrey Meyer kind of just right in between those two guys and hoping for a caution because he's currently free pass car, as you mentioned earlier, and we're pretty much just waiting for either a caution flag or we've got two guys to pit here.
Yeah, we're down 22 laps to go here as the 70 car still has a massive 9.5 second lead, but he is still probably going to have to pit one more time. So, you know, that is obviously going to cause some trouble. As you see, here he comes down. Here he comes down pit road.
Yeah, he actually got split 3 wide. He was trying to slow up so they get down to the bottom of the track right there. He got a little bit hairy, but
almost didn't make it.
I think he actually might be under gas, honestly, as he comes down into his stall though, nice and easy, and of course no mistakes there, but it's too far behind to make it back up. So it looks like now Judge Danielson also down on pit road right there with Jeffrey Myers, so they both make their pit stop, and that's going to now put everything back on sequence. So the 02 Richard Reeves gets back in the race seat on pace, but now it looks like he might just get passed with that 48 of Dustin Connington and the 60 of Brian Bizzle, as the 6 is also up here, but of course not on lead lap after that unfortunate caution, so he's still currently scored 2 laps down by the looks of it, unless that's just needs to
but he is going to stay up there, and you know why? Is to help his teammate try to win this race.
Absolutely.
So that 6 car is definitely going to throw a wrench into a couple of people's races here if he can.
And as little cars as there are in this pack, only about 4 cars or so, 5 cars in this lead pack, you know, that's going to be very crucial as to trying to help everybody out. So. You know, as you see, OT Reeves actually kind of losing the draft here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
It was kind of just the result of being freight trained and trying to fall back in line. As I mentioned earlier, just the last car in the draft always kind of gets knocked out of the draft after a short while. So I'm curious to see if he's able to get caught back up to the back of these guys. They're trying to get the run off these lap cars just to put them lap down.
Gonna have a hard time getting back up there. Unless he can kind of catch the draft from the 50 and the 85 there.
I think he's too far back at this point with it being by himself very much. Unless he can, you know, if he can get in front of the 50 here, Jeffrey Meyer, get clear of him, which he's not quite able to do yet. It looks like he's able to do so. If he can get clear of him in 85, then as you see, he's down in front of him. If they can get single file and work together, they might just really catch these top 3.
Which is what Mr. Reed really needs. He needs those 2 cars to stay behind him and push him up to this lead pack if he's got any chance to win this thing.
This time by 18 laps to go. Brian Bizzle still holds on that race lead, not having number 60 into 48 right there behind him on the bumper. Then the 60's teammate, Jeffrey Mark, currently is 2 laps down in 9th right there, but 3rd on the track. And then Mitch Reeves trying to reel in this lead pack with help from Jeffrey Meyer and Joe Danielson.
And it looks like the 70 car of Mike Donahue comes out in 5th. He is currently shown 37 seconds back with Jonathan Walton in 4th, who's 36. So unfortunate pit stop for the 42 that caused him to be that far back. But they're kind of gathering up together to see if they can, you know, make anything happen. The best thing they can do is hope for a caution that's not them and get caught up and then have it settled between these guys.
That's very interesting right there. In turns number 3 and 4, the top 3 leaders actually went to the top side of the racetrack. I'm not sure if they're trying to get the draft off of that number 76 or not, as he kind of holds up the second pack there a little bit. But yeah, they go into the top side of the racetrack, and run that top, of course, as mentioned earlier, is slower around this track So it's very interesting that they did that. Lost some time to try to gain some time, but now that O2 is behind him, they're going to try to push him. And we're going to see if he's able to catch this lead back, because that's what he's trying to do.
They do seem to be closing on just a little bit, as Mitch Reeves is shown 0.9 seconds behind the 48 of Dustin Covington. So it might be working. Maybe he's using the 76 to kind of bring him back up to that lead pack. The top 2 cars are the only ones in that 3-car pack fighting for position. The 6-car of Jeffrey Merck is shown, I believe, 2 laps down now.
They've definitely got that run. Here they come off of turn number 2, the 76 directly in front of these guys, as just mentioned, and now going to get a huge run on the 6 in front of them, but it looks like the run kind of stalled out as they kind of finally caught them. But either way, this 85 is going to have to work. The O2 going to have to work with some of these lap cars. He's lost out of a shot at this one. And it looks like he's going to try to pass the 76 down low, but 76 almost came down on him on a climb.
Yeah, got a little bit out of sorts there, but Mitch Reeves does get to the inside of Mule, make that pass, as he's just about there to catch up to that lead pack, and he can challenge for this win.
And nice shot with 76 there to he almost came that across the nose, but then quickly made the reaction, turned to the right to avoid, as he realized he was on his inside. So nice shot in there by the 76 to avoid causing that contact. But no too much reason now with that push from Jeffrey Meyer and Judd. They're catching these top 3. But then again, that 6 kind of acted as a little bit of a buffer as the 1 also down.
Yeah, that was a little clenching there. That was close. But yeah, it looks like Mitch Reeves is now back in contact with the top 2 there, and now we can try to see if he can get around that 6 car, which, for as fast as he has been, getting around him is going to be very difficult.
And the fact that he's teaming to the 60, and already we pretty much can guarantee him to try to push him into the win since he can't get it himself. So this is going to be very, very tough for the O2 Mitch Reeves here, and even the 48 of Dustin Covington to try to make something happen. I would not be surprised if this O2 can't get a run as it gets. 48 waits until a late flag or 2 to go, tries to pull out and make a run, but the 6 ditches him because of the fact, work with his teammate. It's going to be very difficult for these guys to try to work around that, with the 6 being fast, with the 6 being teenagers with the 60, and with other lap cars with the 50 and 85 potentially involved. The O2, which Reeves tries to look to the outside, but can't quite make it work, going to fall back in line now. Just 13 laps to go.
Yeah, the only chance that the 48 or the O2 has is if the O2 gets around the 6 car, because with that 6 car there, the 48 is going to try to make a move, but the 6 is not going to go with him, and he'll just be left out to dry. So the 6 being where he is in the perfect position to allow the 60 car to come home with this win, because the 48 is definitely not going to have the graphic time. As we're coming now down to 12 laps to go this time back.
You see some shaking at the front of the field with the 48 and trying to look high, but he's going to fall back in line now. And so the 60 kind of jumped at the racetrack a little bit right there for some odd reason, and opened the door in the bottom, which Reeves tries to go through the middle and try to get around the 6 as he has to run, but
that ain't going to work.
No help at all for the O2. He's going to fall back in line now behind the 6, try to build another run, get another shot at it, as it's very tough to get around to the 60 for all these guys with that 6 trying to factor here.
See, what you're seeing now is the 48 maybe is just trying to psych out the 60 to have him make a mistake so he can capitalize on it. Making peeks out to the outside, maybe kind of going weaving back and forth a little bit to see what the 60 car does and try to get around him. But the 60 car seems to be not falling for any of his shenanigans at this point.
Yeah, you see that classic maneuver. Of course, they found how you're going to see the leader block. It's pretty much what you have to do if you want to try to get the victory. But usually the guy in second likes to try to peek out, especially in a single file like this. In the cup cars, there usually are single files towards the end of the race and throughout the race. It's pretty much who goes with you. And of course, the 6 is not going to go with him. So he has to try to take out the 60 here and looks to the outside. 60 goes through the block, but then he goes down low and tries to complete the pass. But it's just so hard to do. You have to get onto the corner panel. Right now, the 48 is directly behind him. He's not going to get a run, but he gets kind of on the corner panel of him. You see right now he's trying to do.
Yep, trying to side draft a little bit there, and it seems to be working a little bit as the O2 car is now right up alongside the 6 there. you would wonder if the 48 wants to take a chance and go out there and try to catch the 60 off guard and pull the 02 with them. They both get the lead, but obviously that didn't work as the 02 then settles behind the 6 car as Jeffrey Murray.
Yeah, this is 10 laps to go, and a quick reminder, if the caution flag comes out within the final 5 laps, it will end under the caution. It will not go back green. So.
Oh, see, and I didn't realize the 48 is also the teammate of the 60 and the 6. So that I didn't realize that. So that throws a little more wrench into my strategy plan there.
Definitely. Now I'm curious to see who the 6 actually goes
look
with.
out! 77 car smacks the wall as he lets the leaders go by, but he does save it. Everything is just fine as we are now 9 laps to go.
And 9 laps to go. 3 cars still battling for this race lead, and 2 of them being teammates with the lap car with them. So it's going to be very interesting to see. The classic move at these plate tracks, especially the cup cars, is when you're in the guy in second and everybody's single file, what you do is you get behind the guy in front of him, and then go into the corner, and then you let off the gas, you kind of drag the brake a little bit, let a gap form between the two of you so you can come off the corner and get a huge run, and then you try to pull out and make a run for the lead. So you see the 48, I'm not sure if he's trying to do it right now, they've got a bit of a gap, he's trying to get a run off the corner, here gets a pretty decent run. Looks like he's not quite ready enough to make that move, so you can stay in line behind him, but first what you have to do to try to pull out and make the run if you want to win this race is going to have to back up to the guy behind you and let him push you, and then leave that gap between you and leaders and get a huge run on them and try to pass them in the closing laps. I would not be surprised if we have to see, if we have to wait and see until the white flag. After the white flag, probably the time that he's going to make the move, so that's usually the time it makes it. Richard Reeves is trying by himself here with Jeff Meyer.
Yeah, and I was just going to say that the only chance the 02 car has at all is to get around that 6 car. And the only way to do that is if he has a little bit more drafting help than he has. The 50 car is doing a really good job pushing the 02 car, but unfortunately with Jeffrey Merck in that position, there is no way he's going to be able to challenge for this unless he can get down and clear him.
And Doug Danielson's now lost his guys are driving, going to look out the way. 25 almost brought up that caution there. That's what these guys are looking for. But Joe Danielson's lost the straps. He's not going to really come into play and help out, though, too, as I do believe if he had the 85 there up with him, then he probably able to do it. It'd be 3 cars versus 3 cars, but 3 cars versus 2 cars is not going to find work. But this is where you see the side draft really come into play. He has to get down that corner panel, try to get that side draft and pull that inside lane back, and kind of pull himself forward. As you see, he's going to pass the 6. And he'll get past with the strip, at least anyway, and tries to get clear of him, but as soon as he gets up to the point where the 6 then has his corner panel on the 02's corner panel, it's going to just reversed, and he gets the side draft and he gets the run back. So it's really, really tough to try to make this move with the 02.
Yeah, and we are running out of laps here. The next time they cross the line, it'll be 5 laps to go. The 02 car is doing everything he can to get around there, to get in contact with the 2 leaders and challenge for this win. But Jeffrey Merck has other plans for him. As he tries again, he goes to the outside, coming into the trioval here, but the 48 kind of darts out a little bit. Kind of a preemptive block, if you will.
Yeah, they could be trying to see if the 6 would go with them. Obviously, their teammates are sure they're probably communicating, but either that, who's trying to get the clean air on that nose. We have just 5 laps to go now, so we're in that window of if you see the caution flag come out, it's going to end. So that's obviously in the back of the mind of these drivers, just battling for the race lead here, knowing that we could potentially see it, but it's not really likely. But we could potentially see the caution flag come out, and if that's the case, it ends it. It'll get a second chance. So
we sure hope that doesn't happen. At this point, I want this to finish under green.
We have 4 laps to go this time by, so continue to limit down. And again, the white flag, when that comes out, there will be no caution, because that's just the way Ireland works. There's no cautions in the last lap. So once we get that white flag, it's the next, it's the checkered flag. It's going to end it no matter what. But right now,
all right, so here goes the 02 car trying again to get to the outside, but it just isn't working. I mean, he's doing everything he can, but it just doesn't work. He just can't get around that 6 car, which is probably just frustrating him to no end.
And like I said, I think they're probably just going to wait and see in the 48. It's probably going to make that move. I would not be surprised. Coming away flies, the 02 tries again.
3 laps to go.
Tries to push them, but just 2 cars on the outside is not going to be enough unless they get a huge run. They're able to do something crazy here.
It's getting to the point where that kind of that evil thing starts going into the back of your head. Do I put the bumper to the 6 car or not? Do I need to push him out of the way, or can I just flat out pass him?
You see the 60 moves a little gap to the side for the 48.
And here comes another lap car, which is going to throw a wrench possibly into the works of the 02 there. Looks like that's the 76 of Ronald Klein.
Yeah, trying to get out of harm's way. It looks like he's going to go to the top side of the racetrack. So 02 actually tries to pull out and get the draft off of him right there.
Yeah, that was kind of a good try to see if he can get a little bit of run. As we are 2 laps to go now, the laps are running out. The 02 car is going to start getting desperate here. As if Ronald Klein can stay behind and keep up with that draft, they might be able to pull out, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. As that 50 car now is pushing the heck out of that.
Yeah, he's definitely trying, but you look just ahead of these guys. They're going to come to the white flag next time by. You do have a small pack of some slower cars and lap cars, so that could get somebody like the 02 the draft he needs to get that run on the white flag, which is have to see how this plays out. That was pretty much perfect timing. As I guarantee, got about sure they're going to catch these guys in the draft, and it's going to get dicey. He's just close to the inside of the 6.
There. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, as we see if the 02 car has anything for them.
Ryan Bizzle leads the white flag, but Kenny leads the checkered flag. His teammate right there, Dustin Connington, battling for that the win right there behind him is the 6th. His teammates will. You're probably to see the move right here, since we're going to have to make a move. 48.
And the 02 car's losing it a little bit. He kind of getting disconnected, but the 48 says, you know what, I want to win this thing too. See if he makes the move toward the end here, going into 3 and 4, but that lapped pack could cause all kinds of problems.
I don't know if it's big enough for a run right now. He's just kind of there in his rear bumper. It's a pretty decent run right here, though.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a run on him. But here we come. We're coming to the checkered. It doesn't look like he's going to happen. And the 60 car, Brian Bizzell, is going to take the win.
Dustin Connington right there in the 2nd, so a good run for him. And a great rebound after that. 42 ran out of gas there and slowed them all up, but really fortunate for Much Reeves. That's really frustrating, having that fast of a car and knowing that you had a chance, but just not able to pass. Because that's just pretty much just this package. It's really, really tough to pass in Gen 6 Cup cars, and it can sometimes get frustrating if you have just a small number of cars, like the 02 was stuck with right there. But great job there with the 60 of Brian Bizzle. Again, great rebound by both him and the 48 after that incident with the 42. They run out of gas in turn number 3. So. Great job by all right, guys.
I think we're going to have to get the top 3 up here for interviews here coming up in just a little bit, so stand by for the podium finisher interviews. After these messages, of course.
If you're looking for a gift for that special person, or just want to treat yourself, check out Expressions by Erica on Facebook.
Cups, hats, t-shirts,
heat transfer vinyl,
graphics, and much, much more. It has you covered with the best gift for all of those special occasions. Missy from Facebook says, they did an amazing job on what I ordered. They also did it very quickly, even though I had it shipped from South Carolina to Tennessee. I highly recommend them. Thank you, girls.
Also from Facebook, Casey says, great job. And they did it last minute for me since I completely forgot I needed it. Everyone loved it.
Contact Expressions by Erica by calling 843-810-3883 and like us on Facebook.
Expressions by Erica.
All right, welcome back to the Top Shelf Auto Detailing Daytona 500, as we are now going to be speaking to our 3rd place finisher, Mitchell Reeves.
Mitchell Reeves, got a copy.
Yeah, we got you.
So Mitchell, pretty solid 3rd place finish for you after a long race here, full Daytona 500, and obviously only 5 cars finished on the lead lap and 3 in that pack. Just walk us through that whole race and the moves there at the end, trying to get around the guys in front of you.
Yeah, it was just a war of attrition at the start. We had a lot of teammates from Team Exile here that were working together trying to make something happen, and we stayed up front most of the race, and I can't can't be disappointed about that. But yeah, after it kind of shook out, we had that little melee there on the green flag pit stop where a couple guys got taken out. It was down to 4, and Dustin Covington and Brian Bazell are teammates, and all I had was a 42. Well, when the 42 pitted, I knew I was kind of in trouble, and then it worked out perfect for them as well. That Jeffrey Merck, their other teammate as well, all were working together basically just against me and just trying to hold their line and hold their lane. And I got to give a huge shout out to Jeffrey Meyer. He tried everything he can, but in these A cars, man, it's so tough to make something work, especially when you're outnumbered. But coming on P3, it kind of sucks. I felt like we had a really good chance to do it. I really held a lot of moves off, waiting for something to happen. But that's just how these plate races are in these A cars. But we'll take home P3 after 200 laps for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe you get a $10 voucher to a Bruzy racewear. So it's obviously going to be nice to use after this one, and yeah, we saw that race obviously had quite a few cautions play after the race as you would expect, but still about 3 green flag pit stops in total, and that last stint was the one because we've seen almost the last half of the race was under green flag. Just walk us through the strategy it is of taking, do you take tires, do you just take a full tank of fuel, and all that strategy of trying to come to a pit road and playing with other guys to have drafting partners?
Yeah, a lot of these guys, including Brian Bazell and Dustin, I worked with them basically about the first 3 quarters of the race. All of us worked together very, very well, I must say, to on the restarts to work together and then, just get single filed out. And we all talked on and off about pitting together because we knew the more amount of cars you had going in and coming out, the better you'd be off pit road and have better draft and obviously momentum coming off of pit road. But, as I knew as the race would go on, each pit stop would take a couple more off and a couple more off. And, unfortunately, the numbers just weren't my way there on those last couple pit stops. But we were taking right sides and left sides kind of fluctuating. And then on a caution, just depending on the situation, we would take 4. But the car really handled well. There wasn't a lot of wear. But like I said, the track position and your teammates being around you really was the key factor at the end of the day at this race.
Absolutely. I'm sure you have some shout-outs and sponsors that you'd like to give here after your podium finish.
I've got to give a huge shout-out to Team Exile. Ronald Klein tried everything he could to help me out there at the end. It just the momentum just couldn't pick him up. Loose lug nuts, awesome 1, 2, 3 for us guys. It was really cool for us all to work together. Me and Dustin Covington and Bazell had some past issues way back when, but glad that's all behind us and we worked really well today. Got to give a huge shout out to Brian Bazell on the awesome win. Bucky Burt and Robert McFarland putting on this awesome race. They really dealt through a lot of adversity this race and really came out hopefully a good finish for the fans, and especially all the fans that were watching. I saw there was 40 or 50 people at one time watching. I know Michael D'Amico's loving that, and just a huge shout out for Michael D'Amico spending his Sunday doing what he loves and what we love.
Absolutely, and again, congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight, Mitchell, and we'll maybe talk to you later.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next up we have the 2nd place finisher, the 48 car, Dustin Covington. Hey, Dustin, you got a copy? Hello, Dustin Covington, you got a copy? This is Keith and Lucas up in the booth. That doesn't appear as if he is there. Well, let's go ahead and interview the winner then. Maybe he'll come back.
Brian Bazell, you got me? Yeah. So, Brian, after picking the victory here tonight and obviously winning that prize from a Bruzy race, where obviously a lot on the line with that I believe $50 voucher along with a free pair of gloves. So definitely raising for a lot, and definitely had some help there towards the end with your teammates running up with you at front. And just walk us through the major story out of this was not only were you kind of caught behind the 42 when you ran out of gas, but I also do believe that both you and the 48 actually took 4 tires on that pit stop. But you're able to make up all that time on the O2 and Mitchell Reeves and come out the race win. Just walk us through those closing laps and that long stint there at the end.
Well, when the 42 ran out of fuel, I knew I had 6 of Jeffrey Merck, 48 Dustin Covington. I knew we'd be lined up together, and Mitchell's a hell of a racer. Can't take nothing away from that. But I knew he wasn't going to be able to hold off 3 team cars. And when the 42 ran out and Mitchell didn't have no help, it just, the stars aligned, and it was
Yeah, did you think that you had to hold off the 48 there for the win, or did you think, I mean, was he... It didn't look like he was trying to make any moves, though. Were you worried about that?
Oh, no. With Covington Motorsports team, it's team first and then individual. If I had two of them lined up behind me, I was not worried about either one of them pulling out, trying anything. I knew we was making sure one of our cars got in the victory lane, and that's...
All right, well, who do you have to thank tonight for this win?
First off, Covington Motorsports. I think it was Kenny Brett that put this on, or that crew of them. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. You guys for broadcasting, John and Ron for everything they do over at Loose Lug Nuts, and it's nice to have a lug nut car also with a Covington Motorsports car in victory lane. It's a awesome.
All right, well, congratulations on your victory, and go celebrate.
All right, appreciate it. Dustin back now.
Oh, good. All right.
Interview him.
Hey, Dustin, you there?
Yeah.
Hey, congratulations on that second place.
Thank you.
So what were you thinking there with that last run there? It's like you were just happy and content just sitting back there in second place and going to the end.
As long as we could keep the Covington Motorsports cars up front, that's all I was after.
All right. Well, tell us about the race out there. I mean, what was it like? Because I know that you were a little further back for a good chunk of the race there. What let you get up front?
Pit strategy. I took 2 when everybody else took 4 just to get back up there with my teammates. I got hung on the high side and got back in the back. There at the end of the race, I knew we could get hooked up, and it helped out that Jeffrey Merck, he was a lap down, but he got hooked up with us to give us that run at the end.
All right. It looks like you guys had a pretty good strategy there from that entire last run. So who do you have to thank there for your second place?
I had Covington Motorsports with Brian and Mert. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be up front. So we tried to stick together all race long.
All right, well, congratulations, and go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you.
All right, Lucas, well, that kind of wraps up this 500-miler. What did you think?
It was definitely very fun, honestly. It's the first time I've broadcasted a full-length, or commentated for a full-length race like this, and it was definitely exciting to watch. I knew coming into this race, it was going to be whoever was left at the end of it with a clean car, and with the green for pit stops coming into play, always a huge factor at the plate tracks, always messing things up a little bit and spreading the field down, putting people in different strategies. And sure enough, we saw that only 5 cars finished on the lap, and 3 battling for the win there when it was all said and done. And that was just after the second half of the race went green. So imagine if the whole thing went green, we'd have maybe 1 car like a laps ahead of the field. But it was definitely very much fun to watch, and this was a blast.
All right, well, let's run down the field here before we head out for the night. So coming home with the win is Brian Mazzell. Second place, Dustin Covington. Third place, Mitchell Reeves. Fourth is Mike Donahue. Fifth, Jonathan Wall. Sixth, the first car 1 lap down was Judd Danielson. Seventh, Brandon Murray. Eighth, Jeffrey Merck. Ninth, Jeffrey Meyer. And rounding out your top 10 is Les Levy. Lucas.
Ronald Clean finished it off 11th with 3 laps down. Josh Slater right there behind him in 12th. 13th here tonight. Gary Whitmer, after having some fortunate issues with getting involved with some crashes there and having damage. Chris Scales finished it off in 14th, and then 16 laps down. Rucky Burt in the 25 did finish it off in 15th. 16th here tonight, Gary Potts. 17th, Brian Tribble. Jason Hughes finishes 18th. Andy Carnell 19th. And 20th place here tonight, Gary Wood.
All right, then we have Sean Rhodes in 21st. Bobby Jonas in 22nd. Robert McFarland 23rd. Gene Rogers 24th. Ray Richer in 25th. Brandon Thornhill 26th. Cody Tabor 27th. Glenn Fetty 28th. James Brown 29th. Kevin Fetty in 30th. David Caines 31st. Joe Owen 32nd. David Johnson 33rd. Brent McCoy 34th. Austin Lonis in 35th. 36th is Ron Shute. 37th, Travis Lonis. 38th, Corey Stansel. And then rounding out the field, Corey Blevins in 39th. For everyone here at MaxSpeedTV, I'd like to thank Loose Lug Nuts and Over the Top Paints and Designs and Top Shelf Auto Detailing, along with the really fantastic prizes that Abruzzi Racing was able to provide for these racers tonight. Go check them out at abruzzi.co.uk for all the details. And for Jeff, this is Keith in the booth and Michael D'Amico. Have a great night. We'll see you next time.
Take care.